and we're set to go. Open the 1980 season where these two teams left last year as the AFC champion Steelers went on to the Super Bowl, and the Oilers were excused home to Houston, losing again. Frisch kicks it off for Houston. Deep to return, one of the stars of the Super Bowl, Larry Anderson for the Steelers. He's at the 10. Anderson out to the 30. He may go. 40, 50, only Frisch to beat, and Frisch saves it. Oh, my, what a way to open for the Steel City Heroes. They're all the way to the Houston 38.
A 52-yard return for Larry Anderson, who might well have been the most valuable player in the Super Bowl. Accelerates up through there, as a good return man must do. And the Oilers, I think, were just so keyed that they bunched themselves into the center of the field. What a great way to start. Excellent field position.
Actually, 62 yards for Anderson unofficially on the return. Bradshaw sets his line. Franco Harris on the fake. Bradshaw keeps. Oh, is he in? Fumbles. Is it a fumble? No, they're marking the ball down at the 33. Bradshaw, who did not carry the ball often last year, known as a running quarterback earlier in his career, and is he dumped hard on his first play of 1980. It was Stemrick who came up with a hit.
Bradshaw, an uncharacteristic opening, pays the price. As you saw, the ball bounced free as he hit the ground.
Wrecked it. J.C. Wilson, 33, made that tackle of Bradshaw. Second down 5. Both wide receivers left with Swan in the slot. Stallworth wide left. Harrison, Thornton. It's Thornton up the middle. Corralled at the 29, short of a first down by a yard. 3rd and 1. There's the starting backfield for the Steelers. Bradshaw with Harrison, Thornton. Harris needs only 35 yards today, become number 3 rusher all time. The great wide receivers, Stallworth and Swan. Tight end, Randy Grossman. Offensive line, and they're big and strong. Cole, Penny, Webster, Corson, and Brown. They used to be small and quick. Now they average 260 pounds a man. And with the weightlifting program in Pittsburgh, they are very strong. 3rd and 1 at the 29 of Houston. First series for Pittsburgh. Bradshaw with a surprise. 3rd and 1. Wide open. Sidney Thornton. Touchdown. A play that worked so often last year. Thornton caught only 16, but 4 touchdowns. Wide open up the middle.
A play-action pass in a situation where it really came as a surprise to Houston. Sidney Thornton just comes through there. Nobody even close. Thornton takes it around and waltzes into the end zone. You go right down on the field, put on your helmet, get a look at Bradshaw, all kinds of time to throw, and a receiver wide open. Boy, they're opening with the burners on full.
Matt Barr's point after is good, and the Steelers, as Verlin Olsen indicated, he thinks they're better than ever, and nothing to disprove that position on their first possession. Just a minute and 44 seconds into the game. Pittsburgh leads by 7. Down 7-0. Houston will get the...
Campbell might well be the man that Bum Phillips has his eyes riveted on. Virtually shut out here last year. He may be the key. We've talked about Stabler, but Campbell needs to run if this offense will go against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Barr's kick is short and taken up at the 16-yard line and tackled immediately at the 23 as Wolfley, a rookie, and Pollard, another rookie, drop Rob Carpenter. So where the Steelers had a great return, the Oilers start at their own 23 with Stabler, the new quarterback, number 12, Earl Campbell, who has led the NFL in rushing each of his first 2 years in the league, blocking back Tim Wilson. Billy Johnson, white shoes, back in the lineup for Houston. One of the most exciting players in the league. Mike Renfro, his other wide receiver, Mike Barber, the tight end, Gray Carter, Malk, Fisher, and Heyman to protect Stabler. They start with only Campbell behind Stabler. He throws to Campbell. Bobbles the ball at the 30-yard line. Incomplete. Dan Pastorini said of Campbell, he can't catch a cold. Well, Stabler said, well, we'll prove that wrong. But the first try proves Pastorini prophetic as Campbell unable to hang on to a relative relatively easy chance.
Can you imagine Campbell out in the open with the football in his hands and only light defensive backs to tackle him? It's obvious what they want to do, unable to get it down here in the early going.
And like the Oilers of the past, Stabler figures to throw more to his backs and more short patterns than Pastorini. Again, only Campbell behind him, a draw. Campbell draws a crowd at the 28, where it'll be 3rd down and 6. Defense for the Steelers. It's the same defensive unit to the man that played in the Super Bowl. No changes on defense. Greenwood and Green, Furness, Banaszak, Ham, Lambert, and Cole, the backers. Ron Johnson and Mel Blount at the corners both play man-to-man so well, with Wagner and Shell, the veteran safety men. 3rd and 6. Coleman and Carpenter now behind Stabler. Both considered good receivers. White Shoes Johnson in motion. Stabler intercepted. Mel Blount at the 29-yard line. Mel Blount has the Steelers deep in the Houston end.
Blount, a very physical defensive back. An excellent job on White Shoes Johnson. Locked up on him, man-to-man. Comes all the way across the field with him. And Stabler waits long enough, but you see right there, they just went across the screen. Probably should never have thrown that ball, and obviously underthrew it slightly. White Shoes doing a good job on the bigger Blount, getting him out of bounds.
And Bradshaw fires out to Harris, incomplete. Ted Thompson, just in case that was rolled a lateral, scampering after the loose ball. So Harris unable to hang on. Franco caught more passes last year than he has, and it's an indication that Bradshaw may be going more to that flare pass. Phillips. Well, what a contrast in the two head coaches today. Phillips, kind of off the wall, take off your boots and chat a while, and the taciturn professor on the other side, Chuck Noll.
Can you imagine Chuck Noll in a cowboy hat?
That is funny. It's Dr. Chuck Noll now. We'll tell you more about that later. 2nd and 10. Harris, 3 yards to the 27. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Mike Stensrud, 67. The tackle. Andy Doris, Curly Culp, and Elvin Bethea. And that front 3 for the Oilers. Thompson, Stringer, a key. Stringer, who's been hurt. Bingham, the leading tackler for the Oilers, 54. And Brazil, the All-Pro. Wilson, Stemrick at the corners. Mike Reinfeldt, who led the NFL with 12 interceptions last year. Vernon Perry, who was sensational in the playoffs last year. Number 32, the other safety. 3rd down, 6.
We have a 4-man line in there for Houston. Kennard and Stensrud playing inside. Houston trying to do some different things. Single back setup offensively, 4-man line defensively. Normally employed in a 3-man setup. Obviously, they feel that if they're going to beat this Pittsburgh team, they have to come with some surprises.
And perhaps Bradshaw, in audible icing, picks up the 5-yard illegal procedure penalty.
Offense, still 3rd down.
Ray Penny, who is replacing the veteran Sam Davis at left guard, guilty of the foul. It'll be 3rd and 12.
Dick, one guy we want to keep our eyes on, number 56, Art Stringer. He's the key to the inside of this defense for the Oilers. He has been injured. This is really his first action of the year.
Martin, who has a touchdown catch, and Harris behind Bradshaw. Deep for Stallworth. No, it's Jim Smith, and it's thrown out of bounds by Bradshaw. Good coverage by the Oiler defense. Greg Stemrick, 27, had him well blanketed. So the fumble or the interception by Blount, and a penalty puts Pittsburgh at the 32. And let's see, yes, their goal for the field goal. Barr coming in with a field goal unit. Bradshaw's numbers from last year, nearly 55% completions, 26 touchdowns, 25 interceptions.
Young man Mark Malone, number 16 there, first draft pick of the Steelers this past year, and perhaps one they would like to see replace Bradshaw someday in the future.
50-yard attempt. It would be the longest in his young pro career. And he will still be able to boast about his longest being 46 yards. So the Oilers able to survive the pass interception by Blount. They'll get the ball at the line of scrimmage, the 32. Will return to Pittsburgh's Three River Stadium, where the score is Steelers 7, Oilers nothing. And a grand opener it is. is on NBC. Houston and Pittsburgh. The Steelers lead 7-0. We played just 3.5 minutes of this first quarter and plenty of action already. From the 32, Stabler to Campbell, and he rips to the 39. It'll be 2nd and 3 for Houston. Robin Cole, 56 on the tackle.
One of the things that Houston had to do is to rebuild the left side of their offensive line. Leon Gray, number 74. They say he's our first-round draft pick. Traded their first-round choice and a 6th, and boy, that's a good deal. You see him just knocking that defender right to the ground. That big Dwight White, and he took him down, making room for Earl Campbell.
2nd and a long 3. Houston trails 7-0. 10 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first quarter. Campbell again. He's shy of the first down at the 41-yard line. Stabler's passing figures to open up more running room for Campbell. Teams won't be able to key, they feel, quite so heavily on Earl, but Stabler's start today 0 for 2 with an interception, so he's gone in this sequence to Campbell.
Stabler, if he can get it going, will stay with the running game. In fact, when he was an Oakland quarterback, they had a great running game out there. He threw very few passes. He'd like to get the same thing established here and use the pass to mix it up.
3rd and 1. Campbell doesn't make it. Cole and Wagner greet him short of the first down. They love their steel curtain.
Anytime you go against a big back like Earl Campbell, you'd like to have him running sideways toward the line of scrimmage, and then you'd like to gang tackle him. That's exactly what the Steelers do on this play. They've got a lot of black shirts in on the action. They turn Campbell to the outside, and look how many guys get a piece of that tackle. They really stack him up. That's great defense.
10-man rush as Cliff Parsley will punt for Houston. Theo Bell back at the 20-yard line for the Steelers. He's about to become the all-time punt return yardage leader in Pittsburgh history. Bell at the 19. 25, 30 to the 32, so he gains 13 yards on that return. 40-yard punt by Parsley. Timeout here in Pittsburgh with 9:37 remaining in the first quarter. The score, the world champion Steelers 7, the Oilers nothing. First score of the day away from Pittsburgh, the Cardinals 7, the Giants nothing in the first quarter, and we'll bring you up to date on all the scores as we receive them. Atlanta jumps in front of Minnesota 6-0 first period. Don't forget, Brian will have all the highlights of games at halftime, scores at the end of the game on our NFL report. Webster, the all-pro center, over the ball. Pittsburgh leading 7-0. Puts it in play from the 32. Franco Harris. Notorious slow starter, but what a finisher. The greatest runner in playoff history. He's had only one 100-yard game in an opener, and he gains 3 on that drive.
If you can control the center man, the nose man, in a 3-4 defense, you can run the ball against the 3-4. Mike Webster, number 52, one of the strongest centers, is doing that. They're getting a little help as he gets Steve Corson, number 77, to pull. Well, let's go down and look at Webster specifically. Pushes off one man and seals off Ted Thompson on the backside, making room for that run.
2nd and 7. Harris now needs 32 yards to become number 3 all-time. Bradshaw, is it good? What's the call? Yes, it is good at the 46-yard line. John Stallworth doing a double pirouette on the sidelines before falling out of bounds.
We talk about the graceful Lynn Swann. I don't think even Swann could have done a more graceful, more beautiful job of hauling this pass in. And of course, the pass is right on the sideline, right on target. Look how he stretches full length, still keeps those toes just in bounds. That's quite a reception.
The leaning tower of Pittsburgh, John Stallworth, first down at the Houston 46. Bradshaw to Schwann. How in the world did he hang on to the ball? Complete at the 35 in the wraps of J.C. Wilson.
One of the things that's stuck in Lynn Swann's throat for a long time, the rap from Jack Tatum, who's now a member of this Houston team, that Swann does not have courage, that he won't catch the ball inside, that he can't hang on in traffic. We'll let you make up your own mind.
Jackknifed in the tackle, and he still hangs on to the football. First down at the 35. Steelers lead 7-0, 8:20 remaining first quarter. Bradshaw pumping short, going long for Stallworth. And almost a completion
off by Stallworth. Oh, my. Don't forget, following this one, more for you on NBC Sports. We'll continue our exciting coverage. NFL football, second game of the doubleheader. Most of you will see Denver and Philadelphia. Other games, Baltimore and the Jets, Oakland at Kansas City, San Diego and Seattle. So stay tuned. NBC Sports proudly brings you the finest football matchups in the NFL. 2nd and 10.
Houston needs to generate a pass rush. Bradshaw's got too much time to throw back there. He's so dangerous, you can't allow it.
Terry 3 for 6, 66 yards and a touchdown. Harris runs right over his own man, Grossman, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Almost looked as if he was playing leapfrog with his blocker.
Good penetration on the part of the defense. Big Mike Stensrud pursuing from the inside. A real change in that young man from last year. Came into camp, had contract problems, was late, came in overweight, never really got on track. He's gone on a weight program in the offseason. They say his attitude has changed 100%, and they're looking for big things out of that young man.
Injury note for Houston. J.C. Wilson has left the field, a possible knee injury, and Carter Hartwig, 36, is now playing the left corner. 3rd and 7. Both wide receivers left. Give it to Thornton. Got running room. 25, 20, first down, Pittsburgh. Mike Reinfeld, 37, finally hauled him down, and the Steelers are marching for more. First report from Green Bay. The Bears have kicked a 42-yard field goal, 3-0 Chicago.
We've seen more and more of Sidney Thornton injured through the last part of the year. He's a very valuable man in this offense for the Steelers. The ball bounces out there, but the whistle is blown. They've got good field position down on the 19.
They got the 21 yards. Only missed by 1 or 3.
1 or 6.
7-0 the score. Thornton again. And he gets nowhere. In fact, lost a yard. Covered well. As the swarming defense, Ted Washington, 59. Big outside linebacker from Mississippi Valley there to greet him first.
Well, the fact that Washington's back in there would indicate that Stringer is out of that lineup. May have tested that knee and found it to be a little wanting. That would be very bad news if it is indeed true for the Oilers.
And another change for Pittsburgh. John Kolb is out at left tackle, and Ted Peterson has replaced him. We'll check to see whether Kolb, if it's an injury or equipment. He's down on the sideline. 2nd down, a long 11. Franco. He eluded Brazil, but got only to the 20-yard line. Reinfeld up to make the tackle from the secondary along with Stemrick. So for Harris, that's a gain of a couple more. He needs 23 more yards today to pass the great Green Bay fullback Jim Taylor. And then it'll be the top 3 runners all time wearing the same number, 32. O.J. Simpson, Jim Brown, Franco Harris. Barr anticipating a possible field goal attempt as the Steelers look at 3rd and 9.
I wonder if his pulse goes up as he's standing. I bet it does.
Barr has really aged. You know, he looks 18 this year. Swan right, Stallworth left. Bradshaw to Thornton. He crossed him up, and Thornton all the way to the 4-yard line. Everybody looking pass, and Thornton gains 16 up the middle.
That's the big danger of guessing with a quarterback. The Oilers made the mistake. They came with a pass rush. Bradshaw hit him right up the middle. Thornton broke clean into the secondary. An easy first down. Watch it for yourselves. Those defenders looking for pass. Thornton picking his hole right there. Big Larry Brown, 79. A good block right there on Brazil. And Thornton rolling, twisting. A hard man to tackle.
Bradshaw deflected away, intended for Stallworth on the back line of the end zone, and a flag is down. Appeared to be Jack Tatum, 28, who got a piece of the ball.
And it appears that the penalty will go against the Pittsburgh Steelers. At least the early motioning by Houston was that way. We'll have to give them a chance. An offsetting penalty apparently as Bradshaw is signaling. Let's let the official give us that.
Dick Jordan.
Sportsmanlike contact, number 54, defense, blow to the head, ineligible downfield. Number 77, offense, penalties offset, still first down.
So Bingham guilty of a blow to the head, and Steve Corson, 77, the right guard, an ineligible receiver. You can understand that Corson, although he is 6'1" and 260 and has the upper body build to make any weightlifter proud, even with that kind of physique, he can dunk the ball from a standing start. He'd like to get out and catch one.
He's so big, maybe he just looked like he was downfield.
The shadow read 77. So it's play it over. First and goal from the 4. Harris to the 1. Franco Harris just a couple of touchdowns away from number 3 all time. He would pass Leroy Kelly. Is at the 1-yard line.
This Oiler defense, the backbone of this Oiler team for so many years, they're going to have their feet in the end zone. They've got to try and stop a very, very physical offensive line and some very tough backs in this kind of situation.
Less than a yard away from adding to their 7-0 lead. Second and goal. Thornton and Harris behind Bradshaw. And Thornton in motion. Harris, is he in? No. Stopped right at the goal line. It'll be 3rd and inches. Andy Doris, 69. Submarine low. Getting help from his linebackers, and as they unpile, Vernon Perry helping out Doris from the safety spot along with Greg Bingham.
I think that ball is just about nose up to the goal line. Wonder what Bradshaw will have in his mind for this play.
3rd and goal. He's tried Harris twice. Harris with 72 career touchdowns. Leroy Harris 74, or Leroy Kelly 74, just 2 ahead of him on the all-time list. Franco again.
Pittsburgh Steelers probably run more traps and more short yardage traps than any team in football. They call that P10, P11. The quick trap by the guards up inside. 77, Corson, the man who comes across the trap. Franco ducks right up in behind him. A difficult play to stop. Right down in the pitch. You see Corson coming across, cutting people down, and Franco just squirming his way into the end zone.
He knows the way. Here's Barr's point after try. Colquitt to hold. Splits it. And Pittsburgh with 3:47 remaining in the first quarter, flexing its muscles. It's the Steelers jumping in front of the Oilers, 14-0. All right, Bryant, here in Pittsburgh, Terry Bradshaw has led the Steelers to a couple of quick scores. It's 14-0. Other scores: St. Louis 7-0 over the Giants first quarter, Minnesota 7, Atlanta 6 in the first quarter, and the Bears lead Green Bay 3-0 first quarter. Kickoff goes to Carl Roaches, and the little 5'6" return artist gets it out to the 31 for Houston. Carl Roaches. He's been out of football for 2.5 years. Was driving an ice cream truck in Houston last year at this time, and one of those typical Bum Phillips free agents. He goes out and finds them driving cement trucks and ice cream trucks and firemen and what all, and they've all come to contribute at Houston. Stabler, as he begins this series, trailing 14-0, is 0 for 2 passing, 1 interception. Intercepted. Mel Blunt on the ricochet. Intended for Barber. Broken up by Lambert. Blunt has 2.
It's unfortunate that that will go as an interception. Kenny Stabler put the ball right into the hands of Mike Barber. Barber tightly covered by Jack Lambert. The ball actually went through his hands. You'll see it here. Stabler back, and he gets the ball off. Little pump fake, gets it on target. Now watch, Lambert coming across, gets there right as the ball does. The ball simply bounces into the air. That's credited as an interception, but certainly not the fault of the quarterback, and nothing that Barber could do about it either.
Well, this first quarter's been played in Pittsburgh's hands and mostly in the Houston end of the field. There goes Bradshaw for Swan.
This is kind of deja vu, Dick. The last time we were here at the beginning of a season last year, a game expected to have all the drama and build that this game did, and yet the Steelers just came out and dominated the game, partly because of people like Lynn Swann and passing like that from Terry Bradshaw. Well, you cannot beat that.
It's just a perfect throw. You can't fault Wilson. He had him covered. First and 10, just outside the 10. Bradshaw, touchdown! Swann, well, no, they say no good. That Swann did not have control, although Bradshaw is going to argue the point. He thought Swann had pulled it in and still had control and made his steps in the end zone. What a try, though, nevertheless.
Let's watch the official on top of the play. He's watching it all the way. Now the call here is obviously control of the football. Bradshaw has the pass on target. Stallworth gets a hold of it, but bobbles it right there. Looks like he pulls it in, but the official watches him all the way to the ground. Another quick look at it.
You talk about deja vu in the corner of the end zone. It's a tough call. Remember Renfro at the other end of this field in the playoffs. 1, 2.
I said Stallworth. That's obviously Lynn Swann.
What did you think? Inconclusive?
No, it's hard to tell from here.
Second down. Incomplete. Stemrick and Stallworth, and Stemrick did a good job forcing Stallworth out of the end zone. Bradshaw dumped it away. We'll take another look at that Swann play. It's pretty tough to tell because he was doing it. His feet were so quick that we can freeze it as he catches it and see whether he got both feet down, and perhaps it'll just be academic. Third down and 10 at the 10. Here it is again.
Judge for yourself. Now the rule says he's got to have both feet in bounds, has to have control of the football. Bobbling it there. Looks like he's pulling it in. Does he touch down with both feet? Does, but still needs to control it before he gets to the ground.
Tough call. I thought it was a touchdown. Almost intercepted. Bradshaw very nearly threw that one away and right into the arms of Art Stringer. So one interception by Blunt led to a long field goal miss, and now Barr will come in and try to convert this interception.
When the field is short, you get down into that 20-yard line and going on in. The defense very often can come with a blitz. They know that it's easier to cover man-to-man. Not as much room for a receiver to get loose. They did it there. Thompson in on Bradshaw, forced the bad throw, and nearly an interception.
27-yard attempt by Barr. Hits the upright and goes through. A flag is down as Barr kissed that one high off the right upright and carried him through. Now let's check the penalty. Often in this situation, it's the defense that errs in their eagerness to block. Let's see what the call is. They're talking to Lambert, so apparently that is the case. The 5-yard penalty will not give Pittsburgh a first down. They'll take the 3.
Offside, defense, decline, field goal is good.
So it's 17-0 Pittsburgh as Barr hits the upright.
Ball bouncing Pittsburgh's direction today. Off to a firing start. Right to the inside. Dropping down for 3 points.
Now let's go to Bryant Gumbel in New York. Thank you, Brian. And of course, throughout the course of this year, Bryant Gumbel will be in our New York studios as all of our NBC games are funneled into the Big Apple, and he'll pick out the highlights. So not only will you see the game in action as you are today, Pittsburgh and Houston, but be right up to date, not only the scores, but the key plays from action elsewhere in the NFL. Chuck Noll, 49 years young, in his 12th year with the Steelers, and he is building, if he has not already done so, pro football dynasty. High kick and short. Barr to Jeff Groth to the 20, 30, 37. Best field position for the Oilers as Groth takes it out to his own 37-yard line. Well, we're at the start of what should be a great NFL year, but oh, we're at the conclusion of a sensational baseball season, especially in the National League. 6 teams still entertaining high hopes for a World Series opportunity. And Tuesday night, prime time, NBC live, 8 o'clock Eastern time, you'll have a choice. Many of you will see the Dodgers and the Astros battle for first in the West. Many of you will see Pittsburgh, Philadelphia battling for the Eastern top spot along with Montreal. That's Tuesday night on NBC. Stabler first his first completion as an Oiler to the 41-yard line, and you knew it would be to someone playing a tight end position. Rich Castor has the grab. Oh, how Stabler liked to go to those two big tight ends in Oakland, Chester, Casper, and he likes Barber and Castor here with Houston.
One of the raps on Stabler is that he is not a mobile quarterback. He did a fine job of eluding big number 75, Mean Joe Green, to get that pass off.
It's about a 5-yard gain. Second and a long 5. Quick dump to Campbell, and he dropped it again. That's a replay of the first play of the Oilers series back in the opening minutes.
Stabler disappointed. The ball right on target. Campbell had it. Looked like Campbell just tried to run with it, and that's anticipation. He's so anxious to get going into that secondary. Watch him here. He turns his eyes away from that football before he tucks it away, and I think right in junior high school they start teaching you. Watch that football until you get it tucked away.
Can't run before you have it. Third and a long 5. Ronnie Coleman replaces Campbell. He's regarded as the best receiver of the Houston backs. Stabler staying in there, and it's going to be intercepted again. Donnie Shell has it this time. First down at the Houston 43.
Bob Phillips got to be wondering if his team is snake bit. It seems like every time the ball is bounced today, it's bounced right into the waiting arms of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You can see a very happy Donnie Shell. He's got 1. Blunt's got 2. Again, this goes as an interception to Stabler. But watch this. Stabler has the ball on target. Great play there. Bounces the ball up. Wagner right on top of the receiver, and Donnie Shell alertly to pick it up.
Mike Wagner made the play. A fumble, and Houston says they've got the turnover. Their first break of this first quarter. And now the official signal. It's Houston's ball. Hardly enough to bring a smile to O.A. Phillips' face, but at least it's a positive turn for his Oilers with 1:18 left in a long first quarter. The Steelers in front 17-0.
Let's go back again and watch Bradshaw get an idea of what happened. Thornton into that line. Ball stripped away by the tacklers. It's like the Houston defense said, hey, let's take this into our own hands. We need a turnover now.
And Stabler to throw. Complete. And down to the Pittsburgh 43-yard line with a flag down. This would be the first invasion of the Steelers' half of the field by Houston. Donnie Shell made the tackle. Castor with a grab. And it's not going to count. Holding against Houston. Yeah, Bum Phillips. Interesting comment he made earlier as they mark off the 10 for holding. Ankle injury suffered by John Kolb, number 55. No word yet, official word as to the seriousness.
Kolb spent a long time nursing a bad neck problem last year and had just returned to form. Told me yesterday that he was healthy, and he said, I feel too good. He said, maybe that's something wrong. And obviously a little bit prophetic as he's nursing a bad ankle tonight.
Stabler 1 for 6, 5 yards, 3 interceptions, 2 on deflections. Mike Barber wrestled down at the 39.
There has to be a tremendous amount of frustration in that Houston huddle and along their bench. They've pointed so hard for this game, Dick, and maybe too hard. Maybe they've burned themselves up. Maybe emotionally they've drained out a lot of their energy in preparation for this game. As we said earlier, the Pittsburgh approach was business as usual. They let the natural build of this game get them ready. Houston appears to have suffered perhaps by building too hard to it.
Blitz is on from Wagner. Open is right, Houston. He drops the ball, and that one almost went in Mel Blunt's hand. Blunt didn't see it. He bobbled it right toward Blunt. Incomplete. And Stabler's receivers have been rather unkind to him in his Houston debut.
One of the things we should talk about. Kenny Stabler has only been with this team a matter of weeks, and it takes longer than that to build the kind of communication, the kind of confidence between receiver and quarterback. White Shoes obviously could have caught that football. I'm sure feels he should have caught that football. And maybe by the end of this season, or at least midseason, they will be catching those footballs instead of dropping them.
3rd and 14, trailing 17-0. Final seconds of the first quarter. White shoes in motion. The throw to Johnson is over his head. He was well covered. Both Blunt and Wagner there for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steel Curtain gets another standing ovation from the fans on the near side. Cliff Parsley and the punting gang in for Houston. Theo Bell deep for the Steelers. Solo return man at the 21. High spiral. 16 breaks a tackle. Hartwig missed him, and Bell gets out to the 23-yard line before Jeff Groth can make the stop. 45-yard punt and a 7-yard return as 10 seconds remain in this first quarter. The Steelers lead here at Three Rivers 17-0. Elsewhere, it's 3-0 Cincinnati over Tampa Bay in the first quarter. New England leads Cleveland 3-0 first quarter. It's 7-7 the Giants in St. Louis in the second period. Minnesota leads Atlanta 7-6 in the second quarter. No score second period. San Francisco, New Orleans, and Chicago and Green Bay tied at 3 second period. You're up to date on all the scores. Bradshaw, Thornton, and Harris behind him from his own 23. Harris, no, it's Thornton. Hustling his way out to the 27-yard line. Greg Bingham, who has led the Oilers in tackles the last 5 years, made the stop as the gun sounds, ending the first quarter in Pittsburgh. After the first 15 minutes, the Steelers, the Super Bowl champions, leading 17-0. Pittsburgh, there's a man mighty happy to be on the sideline. 61, Tyrone McGriff. 333 players in the draft. He was the 333rd. We'll tell you more of the McGriff story later. Pittsburgh leading 17-0, and Franco Harris bounces out to the 34-yard line, and that'll be another Steeler first down. Behind the block of Ted Peterson of Eastern Illinois. He's at left tackle for injured John Cole.
Peterson and Bethea getting a little extra work in there. You see the fantastic cutting ability of number 32, Franco Harris. He has great vision and the ability to pick his holes so quickly and carefully that he's a difficult man to bring down. Option running at its best.
Harris now at 22 yards. Needs only 13 to pass Jim Taylor. First down, 33 of the Steelers. Bradshaw, an option to Harris. Look at him cut back, and he gets to the 37. Appeared to be no yardage there at all. And he made about 4 on the carry before Curly Culp, trailing the play, and Robert Brazil could meet him.
Now, if I'm Chuck Noll, I'm going to be on that sideline saying, what does Terry think he's doing? He's already run a quarterback rollout. He's comfortably in the lead, and here he is running an option. If I'm a defensive player and I got a shot at Bradshaw, I take him down, and maybe he gets hurt on that play. I don't know that that's that smart.
Ball at the 38, second, and a short, make that a short 6. Craig Wolfley, a rookie, is in the offensive line for Pittsburgh. The throw and complete at the 49 to Lynn Swann. A patented Pittsburgh play. The low throw to Swann coming back to meet the ball.
Very often, all you see is that catch by Swann. The people that make it possible are the offensive linemen down in there, and especially the guys that are head-to-head in the pits. Mike Webster did a great job that time of keeping Curly Culp away from his quarterback, and it's been that one-on-one ability by these very strong, very powerful Pittsburgh offensive linemen that keeps Terry Bradshaw in the kind of situation he's in.
John Smith kicked the field goal. That play you saw that set it up to Hasselbeck with the interference, so New England leads 6-0 over Cleveland. Thornton into Houston territory. He wanted more. Knocked down at the 46 by Greg Bingham.
An eye right there on number 65, Culp, number 78, Bethea. There you see Mike Webster, 52, working hard on Curly, and his ability to negate really the power and strength of Curly Culp, number 78, has been a major factor in Pittsburgh's ability to defeat this Oiler defense.
Culp going out. Ken Kennard, 71, now playing in that nose spot. Bradshaw to this side.
said they look like a confident and powerful champion. Well, they have done nothing but flex their muscles here in the early going. And we sometimes think of this as a team of stars. Well, here's Randy Grossman, an average football player in many ways, but a great performer. I think maybe being on this team brings out the best in some of these players.
Grossman, a free agent out of Temple, and indeed how he has contributed at that tight end spot along with Benny Cunningham. Harris, nice defensive play by the Oilers. Art Stringer from Ball State in his 4th year, and J.C. Wilson, the left corner. He's playing in his home city. Pittsburgh went to the University of Pittsburgh. There is Wilson, 33.
Washington, 59, also a part of that tackle, absolutely fighting to stay on his feet. He and the cornerback, J.C. Wilson there, Stringer coming in to polish it off.
Harris comes out, and Russell Davis goes in. There is the leg of Ken Burrow. He'll take that awkward-looking device, that cast off next week. He said, I can't wait. I've never been hurt before. I don't know how to handle this thing.
Well, it's certainly one of the questions. Will it affect the great speed of 00? The Oilers are hoping not.
2nd and 10. Great protection. Intercepted. Jack Tatum, 25-30, 35-40, and Tatum is all the way to the Pittsburgh 46-yard line, and as he bumped out of bounds, a flag is down at midfield.
Flag thrown well before the hit. Might be a clipping call against the Oilers, which would be unfortunate. They would have had great field position. Tatum, not known for his coverage ability, did a good job of stepping in as Bradshaw obviously goes to a 3rd receiver or a 2nd and just makes a mistake there. Fired it right into the waiting arms of Jack Tatum.
Tatum with his 31st career interception, and now the 15-yard mark off for the clipping. Houston will maintain possession, but instead of starting in Pittsburgh territory, will begin back at their own 32-yard line.
These Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm sure, enjoyed having a shot
Personal
at
foul, clipping number 67 on the receiving team, on the intercepting team, after the interception on the run back. First down.
They certainly do not have any love for him, and did not felt very strongly when he was at Oakland.
Penalty was on Stensrud. There's a timeout in Pittsburgh. 10:53 remaining in the first half. Jack Tatum has stopped another Pittsburgh drive, and Houston has the ball at the 32-yard line, Oiler territory, after the clipping call. It's 17-0 Steelers with nearly 11 minutes remaining in the first half, and Stabler back to the air, a screen pass. Campbell catches this one, 30, 35, and caught from behind at the 37-yard line. Jack Lambert right on the heels of Campbell. Otherwise, Earl would have had another 10 yards or more. Other scores, New England 6-0 over Cleveland 2nd quarter. No score Miami at Buffalo 2nd period. These are all 2nd quarter scores. Cincinnati 3, Tampa Bay 0. Giants and St. Louis tied at 7. Vikings lead the Falcons 7-6. San Francisco, New Orleans no score. Green Bay, Chicago even at 3. So it's close everywhere else. But here Pittsburgh leads 17-0.
And Houston has yet to get a first down.
Blitz and a nice throw by Stabler. Wrapped up immediately. Mike Barber, the tight end, out at about the 42. That's going to be very close to a first down. I believe they'll measure. Jack Ham made the tackle. 59 in the black of the Steelers.
You get a feeling for the strength of this Pittsburgh defense, especially of their linebacking. They have the deepest and strongest core of linebackers in football. On the last play, Lambert making a brilliant play on the screen to save what would have been a big gain. On that play, Ham, a very physical tackle on a big tight end.
That is the first down for Houston in the game. So not only the Steelers shown their powerful offense, a typical Steeler home performance on defense.
They led the NFL last year on offense. They were 2nd on defense. That's the kind of balance that has made them the champion that they are, and that's why they're going to be difficult to unseat this year.
And they make you throw, don't they? You have to throw.
You can't beat them on the ground.
Out of a double wing, Stabler stumbling, then throwing to Campbell. Boy, Campbell withstood a powerful hit from Ron Johnson. He couldn't bring him down, but right there was Ham to collaborate and stop Campbell after just about a yard gain. 2nd and 9.
You have to admire Stabler. Campbell has dropped 3 passes early in this game. But Kenny Stabler knows that Campbell is going to have to catch that ball if he's going to be able to do the kind of things he wants during this season. And there are 16 games in this season, not just one. Stabler goes right back to Campbell. Campbell catches this one. That has to help his confidence. That tells me a lot about Stabler and his leadership.
2nd and 9. Again, only Campbell behind Stabler. Good protection. Down the middle, Renfro. Incomplete, intercepted. Wagner, 45-50. Still on his feet looking for black blockers, and they do not form. And look at Wagner. He stopped to taunt Mike Barber on his way to the sideline. You remember their conflict a couple of years ago.
And that's the 3rd time today that the ball has been bounced into the air. Stabler again had the ball apparently on target. It looked like a reception. Bounces into the air, intercepted.
And a penalty on the play. We'll check that when we come back to Pittsburgh. Steelers leading 17-0. All right, Brian, with Merlin Olsen to Kenberg at Three River Stadium. With that 5 interceptions, Stabler has been picked off 4 times, Bradshaw once, but 3 of 4 Pittsburgh interceptions have been on deflections. Harris from midfield. He's close to the record, at least moving into the number 3 spot. He's all the way to the 43 of Houston. That's a gain of 8 more for Franco Harris. He needed 35, and that gives him, well, it depends on the official score, how many yards he gives him on that one. That may be 35, and we'll have the announcement if it is. He's right at passing Taylor. He's tied him at least.
Sidney Thornton, number 38, ahead of Franco to give him a block right there and clear some room. But you see the quick acceleration when Franco spots that hole, able to turn laterally and get up for that fine gain.
Officially 34 yards. Now he needs 1 more. He's tied Taylor. Thornton is stopped short of the first down. This is a significant moment of all the great runners in the National Football League's history. O.J. Simpson, Jim Brown, and now tied for 3rd, Jim Taylor and Franco Harris. And Harris, without a lot of flair, a man who just consistently, year in, year out, gets his 1,000 yards. He has never won the rushing title. And Franco Harris, whose father passed away in the preseason, he's dedicated this football year to his dad, now needs 1 yard to move into even closer, more distinguished company.
And the Steelers need 1 yard to get a first down.
Who's going to get it? The crowd knows. You can hear the rumbling in the background. Here comes Harris. And he doesn't get it and loses a yard. As Vernon Perry, 32, up from the secondary to make the tackle.
One of the things that Bum Phillips has tried to do is to upgrade the physical nature of his secondary. And in Vernon Perry, he has done quite a bit in that direction. The last 2 plays, it's been Vernon Perry with very aggressive and very strong tackles, actually forcing runners back away from the line of scrimmage. That was an extremely fine play.
Well, Franco Harris just moved back into sole possession of 4th place. He'll need 2 yards now, and the crowd will have to wait at Three River Stadium. You know they're going to give a mighty roar when he does it.
I just see old 31 Jimmy Taylor saying, "No, it's that bullet."
What a great one, the Green Bay Packer. I know he's rooting for Harris and all the rest that follow in his footsteps. First punt by Colquitt, and it's a beauty. All the way to the end zone. The touchback will give the Oilers the ball at the 20-yard line. Now flag is down at the line of scrimmage. We may have had a premature release by one of the, yes, that's the case, one of the Steeler linemen down too soon. We'll see if the Oilers force another punt or whether they'll take the ball
downfield, number 44, offense, declined, first down.
Bum Phillips will take the ball, and Ken Stabler and the offense comes onto the field of play. Timeout. We're in the 2nd quarter in Pittsburgh with 6 minutes and 23 seconds remaining before halftime. The Steelers lead by 17. The Houston Oilers opening today in Pittsburgh, and it doesn't get any easier for them. We'll take another look. There's their first 4 games, and tough ones. Actually, their first 5 games now, counting the one today. Have to go right back to Cleveland in the same division next week. Earl Campbell on the first carry for the 22. What does that mean to you, Merlin?
Well, Dick, if I had been Bum Phillips and got a call from Commissioner Rozelle, and the commissioner said, "What's the worst thing that could possibly happen to you with a new quarterback and the situation they have?" I just said, "Well, I certainly don't want to start with Pittsburgh, and I don't want to play my first 3 games against divisional opponents on the road." That's exactly what they've got.
Tough for the Oilers, but they feel they're ready for it. But they're down 17-0. They need, psychologically, they need to get something on that scoreboard before the end of the half. Stabler on 2nd and 7. station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WJAC-TV, Johnstown.
The penalty is against the Steelers defensively against the face mask, and that will give an automatic first down to the Oilers out at the 28-yard line. To Kendrick Merlin Olsen.
Number 78, defense, first down.
Dwight White guilty of the call. We're in Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh on a beautiful football day. The Steelers, with 4 interceptions, have been the masters of this first half, leading 17-0. Bradshaw hit Thornton wide open on touchdown. Harris has a touchdown from 1 yard out, a field goal by Barr, and the Oilers have not been able to generate any offense thus far. Renfro drops another. That is the 6th or 7th bobbled pass by a Houston receiver in this first half, and 3 of the bobbles have gone to interceptions.
I think if you could characterize the early part of this game, it's been one of total frustration for Stabler. He has put the ball on target, but as expected, he is having real trouble in coordination with his receivers. You don't learn to work with a quarterback, especially under the pressurized situation that you have in a game against the world champions, in just a brief time. Stabler will get better. He'll work better with his receivers, but it's going to take time, and the Oilers are paying the price for that right now.
Second down 10. Both Renfro and White choose to the left. It's Campbell up the middle. No hole. He breaks through on his own out to the 33-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 6. Other scores. 6-0 New England leads Cleveland. Buffalo 3-0 over Miami. 3-0 Cincinnati against Tampa Bay all second quarter. The Giants have taken the lead over St. Louis 14-7. Minnesota 7, Atlanta 6. New Orleans draws first blood. They lead the 49ers 7-0 second quarter. 3-3. Bears and Green Bay tied. Later it'll be Baltimore, New York, Denver at Philadelphia, Oakland, Kansas City, San Diego, Seattle, Detroit, Los Angeles. One just in Minnesota just scored. Kramer on a touchdown throw makes it 14-6 over Atlanta. Incomplete as they put the pressure on Stabler, and his pass for Renfro was a bit behind him. It was White shoes, the intended receiver. The ball was thrown behind him, and the Steelers have held again.
There are people who have to be asking, can this Steeler team be better than they were last year? Can they be better than the team that won 3 Super Bowls in a row? And if this first quarter, first play in this first half in their opening game is any indication, the answer is possibly yes. And that's got to be frightening to the competition in the NFL.
Well, of course, it's just been almost unbeatable here at home. 16 in a row. Houston, the last team to beat them, in 24 the last 25. They're at least somewhat normal on the road because they lose occasionally. Great kick by Parsley. Bell at his 16. 20, and he's got running room. 30, 35, 36-yard line, and with that return, Theo Bell has become the all-time punt return champion in Steeler history. He passed Ray Matthews. Theo Bell in the Pittsburgh record book. And we have a timeout with 4:41 remaining in the first half. Steelers with the ball and in command, 17-0. Well, Theo Bell has passed Glenn Edwards, it is. Edwards, the all-time Steeler punt return leader. Bell needed 22 yards today, and he's picked up 38 on punt returns. Pittsburgh leading 17-0. Ball at their own 35-yard line. It appeared to be Russell Davis. First year back from the University of Michigan. He was the 4th-round draft pick of the Steelers a year ago. Broke his arm in training camp last season. Had a fine summer with the Steelers this year. Just what they need, another good runner.
Of course, Greg Hawthorne, number 27, also in that ball game, their number 1 draft pick last year. Might be a little early to start putting youngsters in there, Dick. I don't know. This Oiler team has come back many times, and they are not quitters.
They need a break and some points going into that locker room with 4 minutes left in this first half. Down 17. Second down 8. At the 37, Bradshaw. Great protection. Wide open. Stallworth. Dips away from 2. And the third man, Brazil, from behind, wrestles him down at the 43. And a flag. That'll be another 15 against Brazil and the Oilers.
And that's the kind of play that will actually give a coach ulcers and gray hair in a hurry. Not a smart play. Bradshaw has time to throw the football. You've got to get a pass rush on Bradshaw, and they're not getting it. You give him time, and he's going to find the open receiver. He does right there. Stallworth. Actually, two Oilers colliding there. Tatum running into Vernon Perry, number 32, to give Stallworth that extra yardage. And then you saw the hit on the sideline. Extracurricular activity on the hit. And then, of course, the penalty against number 52, Robert Brazil.
Sportsmanlike conduct, number 52, defense, first down.
Let's watch Dr. Doom doing a good job of reading the quarterback, sliding with him, accelerating to the ball. He sees Stallworth get away. The penalty called after the fact. Watch right here. He's out of bounds. Stallworth is down. It's what he did after that really got the penalty for him.
Bradshaw leading 17-0, going on for Stallworth. Incomplete. Stemrick on the coverage, and coming over to help out was Mike Reinfeldt. There's so many things happening here in Pittsburgh. You have a great team, and you're going to have a lot of numbers to talk about, records to underline. And Terry Bradshaw, with that completion to Stallworth, has become the 27th player in NFL history to go over 20,000 yards. So Bradshaw moving up on the list as well.
Ball tapped away by the defender, as he did a good job of also putting the helmet to the receiver. I don't think, except for the Packers of the early 60s, that I've ever seen an NFL team with more consistent and outstanding offensive game breakers than this Pittsburgh team. They are absolutely incredible.
Yeah, Bradshaw, Stallworth, Swan, Harris. And here's Hawthorne, the rookie. Actually, second-year man from Baylor. He's to the 25. The fans hoping to help out the Steelers, saying that was too aggressive a tackle, but no flag this time. 7-7 as New Orleans. Earl Cooper has scored on a 2-yard run with 5 minutes remaining in the first half. The tie, check that, the 49ers have scored on Earl Cooper's run to tie New Orleans at 7. Tony Galbraith had scored earlier for the Saints.
Very important to Houston that they keep Bradshaw and the Steelers away from the end zone. They do need some kind of break here before this half. It's been a half of total frustration.
3rd and 8. Less than 3 minutes remaining in the half. Bradshaw all day. Intercepted at the 13-yard line. It appeared to be Vernon Perry. It was Perry, who had only 3 interceptions during the regular season last year, but then that sensational 4-interception game against San Diego in the playoffs, and then a record 75-yard interception return for a touchdown against Bradshaw in the AFC Championship. So Bradshaw saying that just didn't work out for us. Penalty was against Pittsburgh, declined by the Oilers, and that at least stopped the Oilers from the Steelers from adding to the 17-point lead. And Houston has 2:46 remaining in the half to try to get something of their own. Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Games people play. Franco Harris, Mike Adamle, who's with us here in Pittsburgh today, will host the Union Tug of War right here from Pittsburgh. Local members of the U.S. Steel Workers battling the United Mine Workers. Brian Gumbel, famed attorney Lee Bailey, report from the Federal Correctional Facility at Alderson, West Virginia, on an obstacle race between women inmates and members of the prison staff. Again, short yardage for the Houston Oilers. And the stud of the week features a record bus jump hosted by racing star Cale Yarborough. All this and more Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Games people play. Yepremian has tied the game for Cincinnati. To check that for Tampa Bay, his new team. It's 3-3 in the second quarter. Get all the scores and highlights. NFL 80 at halftime. Brian Gumbel. Now, second down for the Oilers. 7 to go. Down the middle, open is White Shoes, and he drops it again. Oh, what an epidemic for the Oiler receivers. There have been some tough chances, but how many can they misplay? Stabler needs someone to hang on to a ball.
Kenny Stabler is having his trouble, not only in having his passes drop, but he is not comfortable in his own drop. He almost trips and falls over one of his own backs. Finally gets back into the backfield and releases this pass, but he is a fine passer. Put it on target. He's got to be saying, come on, guys, just catch a couple of them.
It'll be 3rd down and 7 when we return. 1:59 remaining in the first half. Less than 2 minutes left in the first half here in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers lead 17-0. Houston ball, 3rd and 7. How about it, Merlin Olsen. How can a quarterback have such bad luck in first time? There's so many drops by the Oiler receivers.
Well, one of the things you have to remember, it's the unspoken communication between quarterback and receiver is something that you have to work on, not for weeks, but months and years. And it gets better as the time goes on. Stabler doesn't have the benefit of that time. He'll be much better, and they will be much better by midseason and by the end of the year.
He needs 7 for a first down. Dumps it off to Rob Carpenter. Here come the Steelers. Carpenter fights his way to the 27-yard line, and that'll be a first down. Carpenter, who had that big game against San Diego, although injured in the playoffs to eliminate the Chargers last year.
The adjustment to a new quarterback is one that involves every member of the team. You got a different kind of count, a different kind of cadence. In this case, you're going from a right-handed quarterback to a left-handed quarterback. A quarterback, by the way, with a softer pass, who throws a softer pass than Pastorini did.
There's Stabler throwing a dart to Mike Barber, covered by the Steelers at the 35-yard line, short of the first down. And a timeout is exercised by Houston with 1:21 left in the half. So Barber and the Oilers trying to get something against the Steelers, who have opened a 17-0 lead, all 17 points in the first quarter. 1:21 left before the intermission. Preceding announcement furnished as a public service by the National Football League, and a fine young man, Gifford Nielsen, delivering that message. Bum Phillips looking at his first-string quarterback, Ken Stabler. First down at the Oiler 36. A minute 21 remaining in the half. 17-0 Steelers. Stabler in a crowd, and a nice catch that time. Maybe the most difficult chance of the half. And Richard Castor able to almost squeeze that one between his thighs as he came up with a grab and a first down at the 48-yard line. Clock is running. 104, 103, 102. No timeout, but Stabler coolly making sure everyone's in position. Less than a minute left. Good protection. Now it breaks down, and Stabler is sacked at the 37-yard line. L.C. Greenwood, number 68, top pass rusher in that front four for Pittsburgh, has the first of the half.
Joe Green and Greenwood stunning on the outside of the defensive line. Greenwood exchanging responsibilities right up the middle. Gets there to put Stabler down, but obviously good coverage by Pittsburgh. Stabler couldn't find the open receiver and had nowhere to go.
Understand New England has just scored and takes a 13-0 lead. We'll have all the details and highlights at halftime. Now, one of the knocks against Stabler, his critics, is that he can't throw long anymore, and I was intrigued and amused by Bum Phillips' answer to that. He says, I'll tell you what, why don't you all tell that defense to play up real tight. We'll just see how long Kenny can throw. And he's not been able to get off the long one. The deep coverage has been so good for the Steelers in this first half.
Might be interesting to let Chuck Noll and Bum Phillips trade teams for a little while, and might have some interesting reaction to what happened to these two coaches. Certainly one of the benefits that Chuck Noll has, he has the deepest, the strongest team in the NFL, and that's one of the things that his counterpart, Bum Phillips, has had to fight. Bum does not have the strength. He does not have the game breakers. He's certainly assembling a fine team, but it's kind of like the guy that builds the rocket in his backyard. He does it with spit and baling wire and any way he can get it together.
Second down, almost 20, and a penalty before the snap. Greenwood was in the backfield of the Oilers. Was he invited by an early move? Yes. So that's another -5 for Houston.
Number 60, Ed Fisher, jumping up. Not the kind of guy you'd expect to make that mistake. He's been their most consistent lineman over the past few years, although they talk about Leon Gray, number 74,
Still second down,
as being their best lineman. In fact, Joe Bugle, the offensive line coach for the Oilers, has said that Leon is the finest football player he's ever coached. Quite a compliment.
Indeed, high praise. Second down, 24. Ball now at the 34 of the Oilers. Over the middle and wide open Castor. They gave him the short one, and Castor takes it out to the 42-yard line, far short of the first down. That'll be about 3rd and 15 with the clock running. 33-32, 31-30. Stabler without a huddle.
Steelers obviously willing to give up short yardage to take the time off the clock. be another holding penalty against the Oilers. It seems like every break they have had during this day has been nullified by a penalty, and every possible bounce of the ball has gone against them. I guess maybe Bum Phillips would tell you they're testing us. They're seeing if we can handle all this adversity.
Yeah, in a way, you look at this first half, Merlin, and 17-0 seems rather light in regard to the dominance of the Steelers. They could be ahead by almost twice that much.
Well, I think the statistics will show that it has not been any kind of a ball game statistically, and of
Number
course the
74,
score.
offense, still third down.
The score, by virtue of penetration field position, could well have been worse than it is.
Leon Gray ticketed with a hold. 3 times an All-Pro and All-Pro last year. Let's see that juggle by Blunt. He's got the interception. Whoops, bobbled it right to Carpenter, but it doesn't count. Pump and then over the middle to Carpenter. He almost threw it in the arms of 51 Lawrence Hayes. Well, that's an appropriate way for the final scrimmage play for the Oilers. They've been doing it the entire half. You know they've got to hang on to more the second half. And if Stabler can get out of this first 30 minutes down by only 17, who knows? But it has been all Pittsburgh. Beautiful day in Pittsburgh, Three Rivers Stadium, 4th down, ball at the 32-yard line, Parsley to kick to Bell with just 9 seconds left in the half. Bell at the 36. And finally wrapped up inside his own 40-yard line. Robert Brazil, David Carter downfield, and that's the end of the first half. The Steeler fans take their team off the field. Full appreciation for their first half effort. At the intermission, the defending champion Steelers lead the Houston Oilers 17-0. It's a mark of the strength of the Houston Oilers that they trail only 17-0 at halftime, because it was all Pittsburgh that first 30 minutes.
I think if Chuck Noll had drawn the game plan, he would have included everything except the 2 bad passes by Bradshaw. Pittsburgh has had their way offensively and defensively, and they've got a lot of material for their highlight film already. The season's only...
Especially that steel curtain. They know how to make the big plays. So 17-0 the score here in Pittsburgh as they lead the Oilers. Now let's pick up all the other action, Bryant, in New York. In the first half here in Pittsburgh, the Steelers leading the Oilers 17-0. I feel like I should drop the microphone when I talk about Houston, and I'm sorry about that for you Houston fans, but it's been that bad for them. 7 times in the first half, Stabler had the ball on the button, and it was dropped by an Oiler receiver, and it's only emphasized and exaggerated all the more because Pittsburgh's receivers, Swan and Stallworth, making catches with Oilers all around them and jackknifing them and knocking them down. They don't drop the ball.
One of the things that's easy to do is to say, obviously, a lack of effort on the part of Houston. I don't think that's the case, Dick. I think perhaps they have been too intense, that they're trying too hard. They've had 10 days to get ready for this game. They've obviously pointed for this game a lot longer than that. I think they came in so intense and so tight that they're actually working against themselves. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can relax and get down to business and start playing some good football in this second half.
Well, Coach Bum Phillips may have to call on all of his country wisdom to get them to relax a bit more. They can only go one way, don't you think?
Yes, they can't look any worse than they did in that first half, and I doubt if Bum had much to say to them at halftime. These people are the kind of people who would say to themselves, hey, you don't have to say I played horribly in that first half. I know it. I'm going to try and do something about it in the second half. I guess the question is, can they? Can they, in fact, do something against this very powerful Pittsburgh team?
Steelers have scored on a touchdown pass from Bradshaw to Thornton that you've seen. Harris, who's only 2 yards away from becoming the number 3 rusher in National Football League history. That should happen early in the third quarter. Field goal by Barr at 17-0. Pittsburgh leads Houston as we await the second half. Right now, back to Bryant in New York. We're ready for the second half. Warming up, number 12 in black, Terry Bradshaw, and just loosening up, Ken Stabler, number 10. His younger brother of 9 years, Craig Bradshaw, who's made this Houston club a 7th-round draft pick from Utah State. Mama says, I love them both, but I hate to say it, as well as Terry sings, and he has many albums, Craig puts him to school. And he says, Craig is my better voice. Craig, and I told Terry about that. I said, well, you just It's 17-0, but Houston will get the ball first, starting the second half. Barr sidewinder to Carl Roaches. The little guys to the 10. Spun around, stays on his feet to the 30. He's slippery, and he's out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Mike Wagner bumped him out of bounds. Russell Davis also in on the play.
Well, at least Craig had a good sense to go to a good college, Utah State. I'm glad to see that. Roaches, looks to me if he really tucked that shirt in tight, the numbers might disappear part way. Not very tall at all. They say a strong 5'6" or 5'7", Dick.
Well, they list him at 5'8", but he can't be any taller than 5'6", about 155 pounds, out of Texas A&M. All right, Stabler sets his line. Earl Campbell, the lone back behind him. White Shoes Johnson to the left. Mike Renfro to the right. Stabler's going to throw on first down. And finds Barber open over the middle. Tackled immediately at the 47-yard line. And there is one of the marks of Ken Stabler, the steady, experienced veteran. A lot of quarterbacks would have panicked there. Lots of time. He wiggled free, kept his cool, and found the open man. It's first down for Houston on the first play of the second half. It appeared Stabler might have been bumped up a little bit on that as he goes back to the huddle.
A chance for you to watch the very cool Ken Stabler. Right there, that's what you said, Dick. He could have panicked there. Instead, just pulled the ball down, took a step, completed the pass. That one was hung on to by Mike Barber.
Stabler was 9 for 21 in the first half for only 63 yards and had 4 picked off, 3 of those on deflections. Campbell, short yardage. Campbell was the only man who carried the ball for Houston the entire first half. 7 attempts, 24 yards for Campbell.
Operating with a single back in the backfield much of the time. Really a disadvantage for a running back. No blocking back for you. Makes it tough to operate. Certainly one of the things that Campbell is going to do for Kenny once they both get rolling a little better than they have in this first half is to complement one another.
9 men, now 11 men on the line of scrimmage for Pittsburgh. Under a full blitz and a flag down, and holding was Cole, Robin Cole, who was isolated on Castor. And with that 11-man defensive line, you cannot afford someone to slip deep, and Cole may have saved a touchdown by grabbing on, although at the same moment Stabler was dumping it off because time had run out. That's really an interesting play, and Houston has put in that, they call it their sticky defense, an 11-man defensive line. You're gambling you can get a quarterback who's not too mobile, get him down for a sack.
Number 56,
the reverse of that gamble is that
first down.
You might get an easy touchdown the other way.
Well, and one of the kinds of teams or kinds of quarterbacks you don't want to run it against is a mobile quarterback, because very often you can get a man on a quarterback, and if he can scramble away, that means you've got one-on-one coverage on receivers, and that's an awfully dangerous thing, especially against a team like Pittsburgh with a Swan and a Stalwart.
First down play, and open is White Shoes, complete at the 35 and pays the price for it as Mike Wagner made the solid hit. Wagner from Western Illinois. Johnson makes the catch, but a roar from the crowd and not getting the reaction to what that may be.
I think what they said was that he coughed that ball up as he hit the ground, and they're not going to give him the reception. They're being very tough on that this year, possession. And he was hit as he caught it, driven to the ground. The official on the scene said he dropped the ball. We'll let you watch it from home. Stabler back, he gets it on target, and that's the first 2 passes that have been not only on target, but caught. Watch the hit there, and let's see, looks like that ball was loose, in fact, on the ground. Good call by the official.
Well, Phillips doesn't agree. That's been a good day here in Pittsburgh again for the coach of the Oilers. Second down and 10. Going for Renfro, incomplete. And again, Donnie Shell right there with the receiver, making contact as the ball arrived. You saw that Miami score. Bob Greasy on a pass to Tony Nathan to give the Dolphins a 7-3 lead early in the third quarter.
And again, the problem of the first half revisited. Stabler had it in the hands of Mike Renfro. The ball went through his hands, although certainly in that case, the defensive play, the very aggressive defensive play of Donnie Shell, number 31, had a lot to do with Renfro's inability to hang on to the pass.
At the Pittsburgh 45, 3rd and 10. Offensive line, a Malkin center, Carter and Fisher the guards, Gray and Heyman at tackle. That's Carpenter in motion. Over the middle, wide open, Carpenter. He's at the 30, and he's all the way to the 20-yard line. And this is the deepest penetration of the Oilers today. Good call by Stabler as Carpenter slipped through after going in motion, was open over the middle, a 24-yard gain.
11 offensive teams to cover all of the field. He loves the short passing game. He's capable of going deep. And with the running game of an Earl Campbell, he is going to give Houston a more complete offense. But it's going to take some time. You're seeing just a glimpse here, a preview of what it will look like.
Second down, 7. Up the middle, Campbell inside the 15 to the 14, where it'll be 3rd and 4. You saw the score, Green Bay and Chicago. They're playing in threes there, 2 field goals apiece. Bob Thomas is connected from 34 to make it 6 and 6 in the 3rd quarter. The Oilers desperately in need of points, trailing 17-0. All 17 points scored in the 1st quarter. Pittsburgh came out like a rocket. Renfro right, Ronnie Coleman and White Shoes Johnson left. Carpenter behind Stabler. This is a pass situation, and he puts Carpenter in motion. No back behind him. Over the middle, Carpenter incomplete. Lambert on the coverage. Carpenter was shaking loose in the end zone, but Stabler didn't have quite enough time. Another half second, that's a touchdown.
Well, put on your helmet. You can come right down on the field with us. Get into the action. Carpenter incensed. Felt like he'd been banged around on that one. Jack Lambert doing a good job of covering. Carpenter felt like he had been wronged on that particular play and grabbed. Here you go. Carpenter will be coming right into the center from the right side of your picture. Watch it here, right there. You get the little bump on the hip, but I think that Jack Lambert was in fact going for the ball.
Tony Frisch to try for the first points of the day for Houston. 31 yards away. Nielsen to hold. And the man who was the most accurate kicker in the league last year boots it home. Frisch missed only 4 of 25 last season. Makes good on his first attempt this year. With nearly 5 minutes gone in the 3rd quarter, Houston on the board. Pittsburgh leads 17-3. I thought Bryant was in New York all the time. He got away to Hawaii, eh? It's 17-3 here. Pittsburgh leading Houston. The Oilers have finally scored, taking the kickoff to start this second half all the way to the Pittsburgh 14. Larry Anderson, 20, 30. Oh, he's tripped up as he crosses the 35 at the 36-yard line, and Anderson was off to the races just as he started the game with a brilliant 63-yard kickoff return. That one was 30 yards, and it looked as if he was going to get much more. Carl Roaches, the little guy, lost in the pile, got a little piece of him apparently.
Looked to me like there was a clip in there, but difficult to see right there. Number 73 on the back of Corker, John Corker, the linebacker. But what a great save. Oh, my. He was off and running.
Ball at the 36-yard line. Bradshaw, his team in front by 2 touchdowns. He's 7 of 16 first half, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. And Franco Harris looking to move ahead of Jim Taylor into the number 3 position. Is stopped for a loss at the 34. He'll now need 4 yards. Don't forget, following the game, fans, NBC Sports continues its exciting coverage of NFL football. Second game of our doubleheader. Most of you will see, oh, that should be a good one, Denver and Philadelphia. Also, Baltimore and the Jets, Oakland, Kansas City, and San Diego, Seattle. So stay tuned. NBC Sports will proudly bring you the second half of our matchup here on NFL. Ball at the 35-yard line. They allowed progress there. Audibilized at the line of scrimmage by Bradshaw. 2nd and 11. Good protection. And another fine catch with men all around him. Lynn Swan makes the reception. J.C. Wilson had an early hit. And here's a case where they'll not take the catch probably, but the penalty, because that'll give them an automatic first down out of the 43.
The Oilers in a 4-man rush, trying to get some pressure on Bradshaw. Still unable to do it. Getting excellent protection from his offensive lineman, Steve Corson, number 77. A little help from 52, Mike Webster. Looked like a little bit of an early tap there by the defensive back as he goes over the shoulder of Swan. They will give him a first down. Bradshaw will have the ball. Oiler defense needs to tighten it up here. Got to stop him, get the ball back for that offense. Looked like a little fire coming into that offensive team for the Oilers. They need another chance to get that football.
So no catch for Swan. The Steelers do take the penalty interference and the first down at the 43-yard line. Beautiful day. It's in the 80s with the humidity low. A nice cool breeze at Three Rivers. Franco, he needs 3. Did he get it? If he did, he's out That would appear to be 3 yards, and he now has passed Taylor, although he's been going back and forth or surrounding Taylor's number 3 spot. I'll wait for the announcement. They spot the ball back at the 45. He's done a dramatic job of trying to get 1 or 2 yards, hasn't it?
This is like one of those TV suspense thrillers. You got to wonder when the hammer's going to fall.
Well, if Harris breaks it, maybe he'll break it with a good long run. He's right at tied with Taylor as he has been earlier in the game. Bradshaw at 2nd and 8 in trouble and throws it to Thornton. Incomplete. No, they're going to call it a sack. They ruled that Ted Washington had Bradshaw in control, brass band control, and that's the quick whistle designed for one purpose: protect the quarterback. And although the fans don't like it, Noel may not like it, it is to the benefit of the health of the quarterbacks in the league, and that's why there's going to be the quick whistle, and we applaud it.
Well, Chuck Noll may be a little angry in this case, but overall, I'm sure that he would rather see the protection of his quarterback than the kind of shots the quarterback can take if they don't blow the quick whistle. That's the first sack by the Houston Oilers. They did well in sacks last year. They have not been getting that kind of pressure this year in the preseason, and they haven't gotten it today. Maybe this is a prelude of things to come, Dick.
All right, it's 3rd down and 18. And down he goes again. And fortunately, he didn't fumble. So back-to-back sacks by Houston put it at the 28-yard line. And Pittsburgh will have to punt. And Franco Harris has passed Taylor. He got enough yardage on that last short game that he is 1 yard ahead of Jim Taylor, number 3 spot. All-time in NFL history. O.J., Jim Brown, they both wore 32. He said, I picked 32 in high school because Jim Brown, he was the man. We all wanted to wear 32. And then in college, O.J. Simpson just fortified my feelings. And now he belongs with him. He said, I had no idea. That wasn't a dream. I never thought I'd be this good.
Typical of Franco, would pass very quietly. He's a very unassuming man.
See, what a nice point. You're exactly right, Merlin. That's the way he does his record breaking. Just hardly even applause. Just a ripple. Colquitt slices one to the 43, and the lateral bounce out of bounds. So Houston gets a break on a rare short kick by Craig Colquitt. He almost missed it completely.
I've never seen him kick the ball that badly.
So the Oilers good field position, have a bit of momentum. Let's see if they can build on it. 8 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter, 17-3 Steelers. Short 28-yard kick, and Houston in position as 43. Updates: New England leading 20-3, and the Giants have taken a 17-14 lead against St. Louis. New England leading Cleveland 20-3. Grogan hitting Morgan a 67-yard bomb. Campbell hit in the back that he wants to throw. It looks as if. Yes, he does, and throws it down to White Shoes at the 30, 20, might go all the way, and he will. So White Shoes Johnson celebrates with his dance, and Houston pulls within a touchdown if they can make this extra point. Campbell, it looked as if he wanted to throw it. Johnson was isolated one-on-one. The pass was short, and that worked to perfection for Houston.
And what a head he played by White Shoes Johnson. He was ahead of the defender. He stopped and came back. Watch it yourself here. You see Campbell. He's lifted the ball as if he wants to throw, but he can tell that White Shoes is covered. A very fine defensive play, except for the fact that White Shoes stepped behind Ron Johnson and then took the ball and showed us some of the speed that made him the most feared special teamer in the NFL a few years back. And how many times did we see that?
He started the whole dance. He started the whole process, didn't he? One of the early artists. Kick is good by Frisch. So suddenly, lightning strikes for the Houston Oilers here in Pittsburgh. With 7 minutes and 58 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, Bum Phillips with a little Texas draw there. A touchdown in a 17-10 game. Morgan was in the end zone for New England, so it was Earl Campbell hitting White Shoes Johnson here in Pittsburgh.
No question that this is a shocker. The first pass that Campbell has thrown in his professional career, and it goes for a touch, and it goes to someone who is equally happy, White Shoes Johnson.
Houston kicks it off. Larry Anderson was hurt on the last punt, and so that's Theo Bell returning this kick. 20, fumbled the ball, and Houston has recovered at the 22-yard line. And taking it into the end zone, the man who picked up the football, Darrell Hunt, number 50. Oh, what a turnabout here in the land of the Steelers. Dominated the first quarter and first half, and Houston comes out, gets a field goal, 2. Bum Phillips' team looking for a tying touchdown. It's Stabler immediately to the air. Look at the protection. And incomplete. And what a save by Mike Wagner, diving and just deflecting that pass intended for White Shoes Johnson. Oh, my.
Well, we said that this Oiler team doesn't quit. They proved that last year. They came the hard way through the playoffs as a wild card, and certainly came through their frustration of the first half to get right back into this ball game.
The snake brings him out of there. Now the turnovers are even 4 aside. Boy, that is where the game can change complexion so rapidly. Blitz on over the middle and a flag down. Johnson and another flag as Mel Blunt apparently bumped Johnson, but a flag also at the line of scrimmage. These may be negating penalties as Pittsburgh put on the full rush. 7:37 left in the third quarter. A game that seemed hopeless early for the Houston Oilers has turned around. Patience is a virtue, and quality certainly does surface.
Go motion, 86, offense, interference, 47, defense, penalties are offset. Still second down.
Earl Campbell, although he has not thrown as a professional, was known to throw those kind of passes in high school. We just got word that he actually threw 3 of those, 3 touchdown passes as a high school running back. So I guess he knows how to do it. Certainly proved that today.
Second down, 10, 21-yard line. Oilers trail 17-10 midway through the third quarter. Stabler. Campbell didn't drop that one, and he's down to the 12-yard line, close to a first down, I believe short by a yard. Jack Lambert made the tackle. San Francisco leads New Orleans 20-7 in the third quarter. 49ers much improved. That's an update for George Hagler in Hawaii.
If we were trying to get a good definition for the word fear, I think it might be playing corner at about 180 pounds and seeing Earl Campbell catch the football all by himself in the secondary and realizing that you were the only one between Earl Campbell and the end zone. No, thank you.
That'll put you in the whirlpool. It is a first down for the Oilers at the 11-yard line, and Kenny Stabler and Houston pounding close to a tying touchdown. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WJAC TV, Johnstown.
Back at Three Rivers Stadium, Pittsburgh, midway through the third quarter. Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen. The Oilers down 17-0 in the first quarter. A chance to tie it up. They trail 17-10, and Campbell is out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Maybe closer than that. Wrestled out by Donnie Shell, 31. The Steelers doing everything right and seemingly getting all the breaks. Moved into a 17-0 first quarter lead. The Oilers, who had a miserable first half, dropped no less than 8 passes, have come back in the third quarter to score 10, and they're 1.5 yards away from tying the game.
What a fine run by Earl Campbell, showing you the quickness and the speed and the power. An awesome, hard running, almost impossible to tackle at times, back.
Second down and 1 for a first down, 1.5 yards for a touchdown. Penalty flag down as they used a little reverse, and Rob Carpenter wound up with the football, but a whistle before the snap.
And we had moving on the right side of the line by Houston Oilers, and that's a costly penalty. Oh, you get down to that 1-yard line, you don't want to walk back. Those are such tough yards down inside that 10-yard line.
Stabler, Renfro with a word from Bum Phillips. That
60,
changes the whole strategy.
offense,
Instead of it being second down and less than 1 yard, now it's second down and almost 6 for a first down, and a little more than 6 for a touchdown. Actually, didn't mark off a full 5 yards. And the Steeler fans chant defense. 17-10. Pittsburgh leads. Stabler, the new quarterback of the Oilers, to Castro. The ex-Jet is to the 2. showing some power as he got a couple extra yards just with good aggressive play.
Possible to get the first down here without getting the touchdown, as Houston is going to have a third down situation.
They mark it right at the 1-yard line. Third down.
Very close.
It appears the sticks are inside the 1.
Now they're going to measure it. I think that's the smart thing to do.
While they bring in the chains, a chance to update other action. St. Louis now leads New York 21-17. Otis Anderson, 24-yard run. And it's Minnesota 21, Atlanta 6. Tommy Kramer's thrown 3 touchdown passes for the Vikings. Recapping this one as they measure in the first quarter, first play of the new season. Larry Anderson returned the opening kickoff 63 yards for Pittsburgh, and shortly thereafter Bradshaw hit Sidney Thornton for a 29-yard touchdown pass. Interception by Blunt, but the Steelers unable to capitalize. Eventually they did score on a 12-play march as Franco Harris bowled over from 1 yard to make it 14-0. Another Blunt interception and a 27-yard field goal by Matt Barr ensued to make it 17-0. Houston struggled, and that's being kind throughout the first half, but not so here in the third quarter as they've come out, took the kickoff to start the second half, and marched to a field goal by Frisch of 31 yards. Earl Campbell, the White Shoes Johnson pass, 57 yards, makes it 17-10, and now it's third down and inches for a first down, 3rd and 1 for a touchdown. A fumble, and Houston apparently recovered, and how the brakes are turning. That's the kind of play that Pittsburgh recovered time and time again. There were 3 deflections for interceptions in the first half for Pittsburgh. What a break for the Oilers. They coughed it up, but recovered for a first down.
Do you get the feeling you've watched 2 separate games today, Dick Enberg?
I guess you roll the dice long enough, it does even up.
Watch that ball pop out again. An indication of the timing problems that will exist between Kenny Stabler, his backs, and his receivers. Did not get the handoff cleanly to Earl Campbell. Campbell obviously concentrating so thoroughly on getting up into that line, and Stabler stepped a little too far. But a great break, 1st and inches.
Conway Heyman recovered the fumble. 1st and goal. It is a touchdown for Earl Campbell. Going back to the fumble recovery by Heyman, Merlin, it's interesting to note Conway Heyman, right tackle, 6'3", 270. You know what his nickname is? Earl. So Earl Campbell coughed it up, and the other Earl in the middle of the line said, I got it right here.
And Earl Campbell certainly came through on that carry into the end zone. And did you hear how quiet it got here in this stadium?
There are a few Oiler fans, and there was a ripple over there, kind of lost in the 54,000 Steeler fans. And here's the try for point by Houston that would even the game at 17. How far they've come so quickly. Good spot by Gifford Nielsen as the ball came in on one hop, and we have a new game. 6 minutes, 21 seconds left in the third quarter. How do you do? Houston 17, Pittsburgh 17. And here at Three River Stadium, Pittsburgh, a 1-yard bust up the middle by Campbell has tied the game at 17, and the kickoff is short, taken on the run, and tackled immediately at the 27-yard line. The Steelers rookie, 44, Frank Pollard. He was drafted in the 11th round out of Baylor. And now the Steeler crowd comes to life as they cheer the offense. Giants have moved in front of St. Louis, 24-21. Phil Simms, the Johnny Perkins 58-yard touchdown throw. The Oilers have scored 17 points in 4 minutes and 34 seconds. That's how quickly things can turn around.
Bradshaw's no stranger to coming back from tied or being behind. Let's see what he does here.
He gives to Franco, not a bad place to start. After he's hit, he dives forward for 3 more out to the 33. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Andy Doris, 69. Ted Washington, 59 on the tackle. Campbell has scored on the ground and thrown his first pro pass for a touchdown.
Perhaps ironic that his most important play would be a pass rather than the runs, although he did score on that short one going in.
After he had a second chance fumbling at the 1 as a handoff misfire. Bradshaw trying to rally the Steelers.
makes the tackle, may not be responsible for the tackle. On that last play, number 52, Brazil, upfield very quickly, had to sacrifice his body, but forced Franco Harris so deep that the play had to go back behind the line, and Stemrick able to come up and force him out of bounds for the loss.
Boy, what a team that must have been at Jackson State. Walter Payton and Robert Brazil and Vernon Perry, and I guess you can go on and on. They really produced some great players for the NFL. Third down and 8. Bradshaw. Incomplete. Good coverage in that pass defense for Houston. Vernon Perry was right on the thick of it again. And the Steelers, unable to pick up the first down, have to give the ball right back.
Talking to the Pittsburgh coaches, they felt that the biggest improvement in this Houston team in the last year came in their pass rushing ability and in their secondary, especially in prevent situations. They utilized the four-man rush so much more effectively. You saw it right there. Pressure on the quarterback, the bad throw, good coverage, and they've got a kicking situation.
Roach is deep inside his 30. A good kick by Colquitt. Roach is at his 24. And out of bounds at the 34-yard line. 46-yard kick by Craig Colquitt. We saw New England pouring it on against Cleveland. New England at home. And here was Pittsburgh about to do that, only to find Houston rallying. A new game in the third quarter. Well, the adults are playing their favorite game. The adults of the Oilers and Steelers here at Three Rivers, the biggest crowd ever to see a game in Three Rivers of any kind, over 54,000 fans. New Orleans has scored to pull within 7 of San Francisco. Houston has scored 17 points in the third quarter, and Pittsburgh to tie the Steelers. From the 34, Campbell breaks a tackle, gets outside to the 38-yard line. Donnie Shell, the torpedo from South Carolina State, up to make the tackle. It'll be 2nd and 6. Don't forget, Tuesday night here on NBC, Major League Baseball. Boy, the pennant fever red hot, especially in the National League. 6 teams fighting to get into the playoffs. There's 4 of them. L.A. and Houston will battle, or you'll see Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. That's Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Check your local listing for the game and time in your area. You know, they planned that primetime baseball months and months ago, before the baseball season began. Boy, what great foresight. In a red-hot pennant year, you'll see that fine baseball action Tuesday night on NBC. Mike Renfro, 82, injured on that last play, and hopefully not a serious one. It's knee or ankle. Maybe it might possibly be a cramp. That's certainly what you'd hope for. The way he's walking off, it may be that. And he is walking well enough that I think maybe that's what it is. The way he had his foot up, it looked like that calf muscle may have just cramped up. It's been a long training camp, and muscles still have a tendency to knot up a bit, especially when you're emotional. And this is an emotional team on that far sideline. He looks okay. Jeff Groth has replaced him. He's to the left in the slot with White Shoes Johnson, Barber on the right. A fake to Campbell and a throw to Campbell. Breaks one tackle. Oh, what an effort by Campbell to get a first down at the 45-yard line. Hit by 2 Steelers, and he just refused to go down until he got beyond the yardstick. Dick, we talked earlier about Stabler's going back to Campbell after he dropped the first 3 passes of the day. Since that time, he's caught everything thrown at him. Now, that means so much to Earl Campbell, and it means so much to these Houston Oilers. If Stabler were less confident as a quarterback, if he weren't the smart leader that he is, he'd have left Earl Campbell quickly. Campbell may never have seen many passes the rest of the year. Going to the blacksmith over there on the sidelines is Campbell. Carpenter replacing him, the lone setback. First down from the 45. It's to Campbell, or Carpenter rather. And he's out of bounds at the 45. Good defensive play by Mel Blount, the veteran from Southern University. In his 11th year, he has 42 interceptions. Renfro appears to be okay. Son of Ray Renfro, the former great at Cleveland and elsewhere. One of those plays that really doesn't end up getting you much, but it teaches a lesson in the ability of Stabler to get the ball off quickly and to pick his receivers effectively. Certainly without a fine defensive play, had Carpenter been able to elude the defensive backup on him, he might have had a chance to get away. Trying to pick up the injured Steeler. It's 51, Lauren Taves from the University of California. And he, too, seems to be all right. Taves
has had an opportunity to play middle linebacker this year because of an injury to Dirt Winston. I asked him how he liked it in there. He said, boy, you sure have to do a lot of different things than you do on the outside. They're the first half and second half statistics. We talked about two different games. There they are.
Well, what evidence. Second down, 11. To Castor, incomplete at the 40 of Pittsburgh. He was double teamed. Robin Cole and Mel Blunt. It was a leg cramp. As you had speculated for Renfro, he's okay. Update. The Giants, much maligned after their summer performance, but the bell is rung and they're playing well against St. Louis, 31-21. Phil Simms has thrown 4 touchdown passes, 3 of them to Ernest Gray, 10, 37, and 42 yards. Third and 11. Don't forget all the scores and highlights over most of these stations after the game. Third and 11. Barber, can he make it? He dives forward, and that's going to be close to a first down. They may have to measure. Mike Barber from Louisiana Tech, same school that graduated Terry Bradshaw. 11 yards, and it's going to be close enough for a measurement. Now, what if he doesn't make it? Tom Phillips didn't think he got a good spot on that one, and from his reaction, will he go for it? He has the momentum. Or with a tie game, do you kick it and try to pin Pittsburgh deep? Well, let's first see whether or not he made it.
It may be academic. It's short.
Now, what do you do? Stabler wants to stay on the field. So far, no one's come in.
Stabler would like to call it himself.
It's at the 45-44.
Bum's making the percentage call. He's making a percentage call, and I admire him for that. You got to be smart. You got to be a smart football player as well as a gutty football player, and sometimes being smart dictates that you make the percentage call and then talk to the official about the way he spotted the ball.
Got to talk to Bum. He's going to wear out the tops of his ears. He keeps pressing that head down harder and harder. That's tough on the lobes. Minnesota leading Atlanta 21-13. Bartkowski to Jenkins, a 46-yard touchdown for the Falcons. Parsley in an apparent punt situation. The Steelers have no one deep. He's kicking.
Oh, very, very nice punt. Somebody get down and
Bad bounce for Houston. It kicked too hard, although he had floated it down to around the 10, just as Parsley wanted to do.
Well, that's exactly what the punter tries to do in that situation. Hangs it very high, gets his people down, and they'd like to trap it, but the ball just took one hard kick and rolled into the end zone.
So 17-17 the score. Here in Pittsburgh, with 3:06 remaining in the third quarter. Other scores, New England 27, Cleveland 3 early in the fourth quarter. It's 7-3, Miami leading at Buffalo third quarter. 10-3, Tampa Bay leads Cincinnati second quarter. Bradshaw on first down. Wide open. 45-yard line to John Stallworth all alone. Mike Reinfeldt was the closest white uniform.
The blitz was on. You blitz a quarterback like Bradshaw, you better get to him because that puts the pressure on the defensive backs. Brazil held out, could not get to him. The ball floated, drops a little short. Stallworth right back to it. Excellent reception. First and 10.
Lynn Swan was telling me how Bradshaw does that so well. He tells you where the defense is by where he throws the ball. By throwing it low, he was telling Stallworth, watch out, you're going to get hit from behind. It's a 25-yard gain and a first down at the 45. Minnesota 21, Atlanta 13. Third quarter, San Francisco 20, New Orleans 13. Fourth quarter, Bears and Green Bay tied at 6. Up to date on all the scores.
Just looking at Sidney Thornton, number 38 on the Steelers side of the line. I think he's the only man. If you look from the waist down, look at the hips and the thighs of Thornton. Very similar in build to Earl Campbell. A difficult man to tackle with that low center of gravity.
5'11" and 230. Robert Newhouse, too, the Dallas Cowboys bowling ball. Second and 8.
the play before this one, he'd had an altercation at the line of scrimmage, and often losing your temper and retaliating results in a penalty.
Officials still discussing. Referee, of course, easily identified because he wears the black hat.
Does that mean he's a bad guy?
I think to most players and coaches, yes.
Blow to the head, 32, defense.
That's Vernon Perry, blow to the head, personal foul.
Go downfield, number 52.
Mike Webster was downfield.
Second down.
Offsetting penalties.
Again, the illustration of the importance of keeping your temper and maintaining and controlling your emotions. Had Perry not made that very silly maneuver on the outside, they'd have marched off a penalty against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lost it down, they'd have been a chance there to get them going again.
Absolutely. Jack Tatum, 28, who has an interception. The former Raider is in the back five now of Houston on 2nd and 8. Bradshaw will throw. Stallworth at the 41-yard line of Houston. First down. Vernon Perry made the tackle.
Difficult, excuse me, Dick, difficult sometimes to generate and get things moving after you've kind of stalled out. And I think that's the tough job for Bradshaw here, to get this offense back and moving. And certainly if he can do that and get them on the board again, it can make it tough on Houston.
He's done it through the air. He's not been in running much, nor has he been running effectively. Whoops. And left side of the Pittsburgh line, or did Houston jump first?
I don't know who jumped, but we got somebody on the ground down there.
One of the Oilers with the pumpkin.
Dr. Doom.
Against the Steelers. Illegal procedure. That'll make it 1st and 15 to the dismay of Chuck Noll of the Steelers.
I think you can always tell.
66, offense, still first down.
I think you can always tell what the attitude of that coach is by the amount of space that the players are giving him. When Noll starts to fume, everybody just kind of stiffs out and moves aside to give him room.
Just like that baseball dugout. The manager at one end and all the players at the other. 1st and 15 from the Oiler 46. Franco on a draw, and he's to the 39, maybe the 38. Some of the fans thought he was collared on the tackle, but no flag. 8 yards for Franco as he builds on that number 3 position all time. Chuck Noll, 49, 12th year, 8 straight playoffs. If Pittsburgh goes to the playoffs this year, it'll be an all-time NFL record, 9 in a row. Last May, he earned an honorary doctorate here at Duquesne University. Presented him with that high honor. So it's Dr. Chuck Noll. Many football experts feel that's well deserved in more ways than one. 2nd and 7. Good protection. Open to Thornton. First down at the 22-yard line.
Steelers blitzing on this play. Picked up brilliantly by the left side of that offensive line. Bradshaw has time, and nobody over there to cover the receiver. Thornton makes another big catch. You recall that he caught the first touchdown pass with almost that amount of room to spare early in the ballgame.
They spotted at the 23. This has been a march from the 20-yard line for Pittsburgh, their own 20. Franco Harris ran right into Ted Washington. Washington hiding in a hole on that left side. He saw Harris try to dip outside, and Washington made a solid tackle for a loss of a yard. As the gun sounds, ending a big third quarter for Houston. We go to the final period. The 2 top teams in the AFC last year playing even through 3 quarters. We'll be back after these messages. The Three Rivers Corral, Judgment Day, and it appeared to be a mean sentence in the first quarter when Pittsburgh led 17-0. No score in the second, and then the Oilers came back with 17 of their own in the third quarter. We open the fourth quarter. Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Steelers have the ball, 2nd down 11 at the Houston 24, and a tie game, 17. Bradshaw to Thornton. And 6'5" and 2/80. Stenson at 67 made the stop.
It's a title that he has wrested from Curly Culp. On that play, the Oiler defense doing a little window dressing, coming up, faking the blitz, forcing Bradshaw into an audible. I think he was going to try and beat him with a quick pop up the middle. As it was, they dropped back to the regular defense. Good play. They forced it long yardage, third down. Let's see if they can get a rush here.
3rd and 9. Everyone in the pattern. Bradshaw still protected well. And a what a catch by, what is that, Jim Smith? Or is it Swan? It's Jim Smith. Merlin, you talked about the depth of the Steelers. Jim Smith making a circus catch.
I think they've cloned Swan and Stallworth. They've got another one. The pass right here in traffic. And Smith skies to pull that ball down and then hangs on. What a catch.
Reinfeld and Wilson all over him. Smith from Michigan, 6'2" and 205. He caught some big ones last year, a couple for touchdowns. He's made it 1st and goal. Pittsburgh just outside the Houston 2. Thornton and Harris. It's Thornton to the goal line. Not quite in. Here that Harris almost leaning forward on that snap.
Interesting that on that pass play, on that reception, Bradshaw rushed quite aggressively. And being conscious of the rush, still put that ball right on target. That's the kind of concentration that he has developed as a quarterback. He's had quite a day, except for those 2 lapses, those 2 very bad passes that he threw, which went for interceptions.
11 years ago, how close the Steelers came to not getting Bradshaw. Remember, it was a coin flip with the Bears to see who got number 1, and Pittsburgh won the flip, got Bradshaw. Bobby Douglas was the 2nd pick by the Bears. 2nd and goal for the lead. Flag is down, and let's see what this penalty is. If it's against Pittsburgh, it will cost them a touchdown.
Now you remember that the Oilers down in this same situation did have a penalty that cost them the yardage, but this one goes against the Oilers.
And apparently Harris did not get in. Greg Hawthorne, 27, does come in, and Sidney Thornton is out for Pittsburgh.
I'd anticipate they'll take the penalty because that means they'll have the down again. They'll take it back to the line of scrimmage, mark off half the distance. Might be one of the shortest penalties ever marked off against the Houston Oilers.
It's just picking up the ball and rotating it once and putting it right back down in the same spot. 2nd and goal, right on the goal line. Bradshaw takes it in himself. The Steelers come back to take the lead. Bradshaw with a score. Last year was the first time in his career here for the Steelers that he did not have a rushing touchdown. Now Bradshaw gives his team the lead. Here's a try for a point by Barr. Good. Time out. 2 minutes, 10 seconds into the 4th quarter. Pittsburgh leading 17-0. Finding their lead, melting away to a tie, is back in front. Steelers 24, Oilers 17. Bradshaw's first touchdown in 2 years on the ground. A little quarterback draw, and it's 24-17 Pittsburgh. A short kick taken by Carpenter at the 18, and Rob Carpenter out to the 30 and maybe the 31. Now they say knee down at the 30-yard line. The Oilers now find themselves down by 7. Tackle by Donnie Shell. Stapler goes into the huddle, 17 for 35 and 130 yards. New England pounding Cleveland 34-3. Grogan to Hasselbeck, 17 yards, a touchdown. New England with some critics in the preseason, but playing big today. Cincinnati and Tampa Bay, 12-10 the score. Cincinnati has taken the lead on a safety and then came right back to get a touchdown. Thompson to Ross, 3 yards. So the Bengals have pulled ahead by 2. Meanwhile, it's San Francisco 23, New Orleans 20, as the Saints tighten that one in the 4th quarter. Here, plenty of time in the fourth quarter, over 12 minutes remaining. And they'll have to kick it over again.
They're going to have to come back and kick the ball again from the 30-yard line. Somebody got off a little quick down there. Offside against the kicking team. Helps the Oiler cause, as they'll have a chance to get a better return. The ball kicked short. They did not have much of a return on it. Everybody moves up 5 yards, and let's see what they can do with this one.
Saw growth in Roaches back at the 5. Barr has not been kicking him that long today. That's about his best one. Roaches at the 8. The 20. Met hard by Hawthorne at the 25-yard line, and a flag is dropped right where the tackle was made. Greg Hawthorne on the special team for the solid tackle. A couple of former Southwest Conference stars. Roaches from A&M, Hawthorne from Baylor.
And we've got a holding call. 10 yards marched off. That's going to, instead of getting a chance to upgrade their field position, Houston's going to be off back inside their 20-yard line. That's what you get, I guess, sometimes. Bum Phillips thought things had turned here in the second half, but he's had a couple bad.
Holding number 45, receiving team, first down.
Wilson. Don't expect that kind of thing from Wilson. First and 10. Houston backed up at the 15-yard line. Well, Pittsburgh just marched 80 yards from its 20. 10 plays to take the lead on a 1-yard sneak by Bradshaw. Stabler out of the eye. To Barber. Trying to rip free from the tackle, but can't get away from Lauren Taves. Solid linebacker. Again, another example of the depth of the Steelers, as Taves, a starter most anywhere, has to come off the bench for Chuck Noll. And an injury on the play. Someone out there trying to block for Barber. Not as yet up.
The one thing that this Oiler team does not have, as you said, Dick, is depth. In the offensive line, they're very shallow. In their defensive secondary, they're relatively shallow. Linebacking, there's not much depth there. Bum Phillips, of course, concerned whenever one of his players go down.
Well, the injured Oiler will bring you up to date on that report. Earl Campbell is the man down, so no wonder it's drawn a crowd of concern. So a timeout here in Pittsburgh. It is 24-17 Steelers, 12 minutes to play. Earl Campbell helped off the field on the sidelines. Appears to be okay. Campbell today, interestingly, he has passed for more yardage than he has rushed. 57 yards passing, 45 yards rushing, 157-yard surprise throw for a touchdown to Johnson. On first down, or just shy of the first down, it was second and a long one, and there is the first down as Tim Wilson plows straight ahead. First time that anyone other than Campbell has rushed the football for Houston today, and we're in the fourth quarter. Other scores. 10-7, Buffalo leads Miami. Ferguson to Leake's pass of 4 yards. 31-28, the Giants at St. Louis in a ding-dong game. Hart to Marsh to pull the Cardinals within 3. And it's 21-20 Minnesota over Atlanta. Fourth quarter, Bartkowski to Jackson. Another touchdown for Bartkowski. First down, Stabler. Steve Furness from Rhode Island, number 64, sacks Stabler. Second sack for the Steelers. All the way back to the 15-yard line.
That's the first time we've seen the I formation for Houston all day. 2 backs in that formation. Stabler going to throw. Gets pressure and has nowhere to go. Steve Furness in on top of him. Furness doing a good job of breaking loose from David Carter, a man who has not played a great deal at that left guard position, but a very important man in the plans of the Houston Oilers this year.
Herman, as you know, because you recorded many yourself, one of the biggest plays in football. Not only a minus 12 yards, but you cost them a down. And now it is second down and 22. Open up the middle, and how'd that ball get through there? And Barber is able to get up and fall for 2 more yards as there was no defensive contact at the 28-yard line. So they get back about 10 of that as Barber picks up his 5th catch, 44 yards. Indeed, Stabler likes to go to his tight end. New England 34, Cleveland 10, as Brian Sipe, who tied for most touchdowns in the league last year, hits Dave Logan 11 yards. All the scores, highlights so stay with us on NBC. Ryan Gumbel, bring you up to date. Third, call it a long 8. Stabler showing some mobility to White Shoes Johnson, wrapped up at the 30-yard line. L.C. Greenwood and Steve Burness putting the heat on Stabler. The Steelers have held, and the defense gets another hand.
Watch Stabler scramble. The knock about mobility, he does not have great speed, but he does have a great sense of where the opening in the pocket. And watch the sidearm delivery here. Boy, he didn't ever get that arm above the shoulder. White Shoes Johnson, an excellent job of catching that football.
Parsley to Bell at the 28, 35, 45. He's all the way to the 45 of Houston. Theo Bell has been dazzling all day on punt returns. Darrell Hunt finally brought him down. Bell from the University of Arizona has Pittsburgh back in Houston territory when the Steelers lead by 7. First of another big season on NBC. 16 regular season, the playoffs, and we'll have the Super Bowl for you next January. The Steelers, 4-time Super Bowl champs, lead here today 24-17, and Bradshaw just does get it away, charging through hard for the Houston Oilers. And let's give him credit. Robert Brazil, 52, and you see number 61 in your picture, Tyrone McGriff, a rookie. He's the guy we talked about, last man picked in the draft.
McGriff, the option blocker, the uncovered man, and what a nasty task to have as your first play, getting out in front of Dr. Doom, who just came with destruction on his mind and leveled number 12, Terry Bradshaw.
You talked about the depth, Merlin Olsen, of the Steelers. The one place where they are a little thin is in the offensive line, with Mullins being cut and Davis hurt. They're playing McGriff now and Peterson on that left side of the line. And McGriff got away with a little hold and a whistle.
Not only a little bit concerned about their position there, but if they were to have an injury at guard, it might force them to play a rookie, something they really don't want to do. It seems like whenever they've cut a veteran and then kept a rookie, they've had problems immediately after.
79, offense, still second down.
Veteran Larry Brown, who made the error. You might have thought it would have been the youngster, but it was not. It was Brown. You saw the score. San Francisco once leading 20-7 at New Orleans. The Saints have rallied to tie 23 on Ertzleben's 37-yard field goal with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Steelers looking at 2nd and 15 from the 50. Bradshaw to Harris, incomplete as Harris bobbled it at the 48. It was ticketed for a short gain anyway. J.C. Wilson, 33 for Houston, the tackler.
In checking with the Pittsburgh bench, Ray Penny, who was the starter at that left guard position, is out with a possible concussion. That's the reason the young rookie McGriff is in there. They've kept 2 rookie guards, McGriff and Wolfley, and they're very high on both of them. They think they both have the potential to be players, but you apprentice here with the Pittsburgh Steelers before you play, and they want you to apprentice at least for a couple of years, unless you're just simply too outstanding to keep out of the lineup. They don't want to have to put you in there until you're ready. These kind of young men would start on a lot of other clubs, or would at least be ready to start very soon.
3rd down, 15. Bradshaw again to the air and under pressure. Gets away. And goes long for Stallworth. He's got it for a touchdown. 3 plays, 55 yards. A touchdown, Pittsburgh. A 50-yard throw. Bradshaw escaping from Andy Doris, showing his ability, and then threw it up for grabs. And when it's up there high, John Stallworth doesn't miss many. Picked it off for a touchdown, just like reaching up high. No one can get that big red apple up there. But the guy who jumps the best gets the prize, and Stallworth with a touchdown. And more football to follow here on NBC, the second half of our doubleheader. 15-yard penalty on sportsmanlike conduct on the extra point. There's a penalty now that they're going to enforce more and more on field goal tries and extra points. You cannot run up the back of one of your opponents. You also cannot put your hand, say, on the back of one of your down linemen and then leap high to get leverage to block a kick, and that's what the call was. Leverage used by Houston trying to get a little added boost to block the extra point. It'll be a touchback at the 20, and Chuck Noll breathes a little easier.
I asked Chuck Noll if training camp ever got boring for him. This is his 29th. They just finished his 29th camp. He said no. He said, I got different people to work with. Well, I guess if I had Swans and Stallworths and Bradshaws, it wouldn't be boring for me either.
Well, it certainly has not been boring to these fans. Campbell the only back. Stabler down by 2 touchdowns. Hit from behind. Going long for Castor. Just off his fingertips, and that would have been 6 the other way. Just missed. Stabler again, as you pointed out so well, Merlin Olsen. Those are those little delicate differences that as the season wears on, that pass becomes complete.
That pass, by the way, was in the air about 40, 45 yards. Perhaps that might be a reminder to the Steelers and other teams that Stabler can indeed throw the ball deep. And had Castor kept that one in his hands, it certainly was, although a difficult catch, a catchable ball. Would have made a big difference here.
Looked as if it had touchdown written on it. Ball at the 20. Stabler 20 of 38 now. Barber. He's been the busiest of the receivers. That's for mighty short yardage, however. For Barber, that's his 6th catch today, total of 46 yards. Joe Costanza with a sharp pencil. And you got to watch the tight end this year for Houston. Barber last year only caught 26, 27 balls. It looks like he's going to be 27 officially. He's liable to be up there around 50.
I think I know where I could call him tomorrow in the training room. He's taking some real hits out there today.
22-yard line, 3rd and 8. Steeler defense ran it tight in the noose, leading 31-17. Carpenter in motion. Throws it to Carpenter. And despite his extra effort, he comes up 2 yards short of a first down. And the Houston punting team comes on the field. Stabler goes off. You know, I was looking through some old notes. His high school coach gave Kenny Stabler the nickname Snake. And he said that he gave him that moniker because Stabler in high school would run 200 yards just to get 20. And he said, and it shows you how time does change a lot of things, including physique. High school coach said in those days, Kenny was thinner than an airmail letter. It'll be hard to describe Ken Stabler as such now. Parsley's boot. Bell fair catch. 25-yard line. Well, that's surprising. He doesn't fair catch very often. It's 34-10. New England lead. Make it 34-17 now. New England leading Cleveland. 17-7 Buffalo trying to surprise Miami. It's been a long drought for the Bills against the Dolphins. Cincinnati on a safety and ensuing touchdown in the second half, winning 12-10 against Tampa Bay. Giants by 10 against St. Louis. Minnesota by a point over Atlanta. All these games late. New Orleans has rallied to tie the 49ers. Tie game, Green Bay and the Bears. And here was tie going into the fourth quarter, but Terry Bradshaw has led the Steelers to 2 touchdowns. And it's 31-17 with just 7 minutes left. Thornton right into the arms of Andy Doris up high. And down low it appeared to be Ted Washington. It was. And the Giants, St. Louis 38-35 in a pitcher's battle in St. Louis. The last score, Jim Hart to Pat Tilley, 42 yards. Still have 5:25 left in that game. I know many of you have been kind enough to write us and say, hey, NBC, you do a great job with the other scores. We like the game we're watching, but give us the other scores. And we're pleased you're enjoying that. We're going to follow that form all in 1980. We'll know what's going on all around the NFL. Franco. Steelers seemingly just going to run out the clock as much as they can, not take any chances. 6:10, 6:09 left. Washington and Bingham with that last tackle.
With that kind of an edge, they'd love to eat some of that clock, and obviously don't want to take a risk. They've gotten themselves in trouble with turnovers, and Bradshaw can afford to be a little conservative, although we've seen him do this, lull you to sleep a little bit, and then throw an 80-yarder zipping down the field. So it certainly appears that they are becoming a little conservative, but let's not bank on it.
Jesse Baker, number 75 from Jacksonville State of Alabama. He led the Oilers with 15.5 sacks last year. And just in case, he'll be teeing off on Bradshaw on this 3rd down and 8. But it's a run. Tripped up was Franco Harris, as he almost got between those two big guys, Stensrud and Colt. But Stensrud, big hook got him. 49ers have moved back in front by 3, Wershing a 37-yard field goal. There's less than 4 minutes remaining in that game in New Orleans.
Baker says he wants to get 20 sacks this year, and certainly an ambitious task for one who is not in the ballgame all the time. Very capable young man, although they're almost as excited, maybe even more excited, about Mongo.
He's going to be a player, Mike Stensrud.
Yes.
Less than 5 minutes left as Colquitt is going to let that clock run down as much as he can. 9 on the 32nd clock. And with about 5 left, he hits a beauty. Carl Roaches at the 20. At the 25. Reversing. Oh, he had an open field to the far sidelines, and Robin Cole saved a big effort by Roaches. He had worked hard to find a way clear, and he had nothing but daylight on the far side. But Robin Cole made the big play. How often you use that term when you talk about the Steelers? Big play. 52-yard punt, 6-yard return. Roaches, they're going to love him in Houston, though. You got a feeling he's going to give them a lot of exciting returns.
I think he will. One of the big play people, one of the leader of this Pittsburgh team, Joe Green, down on the field. In the locker room before the game with him. He's a colorful character. I got a good story for you, Nick, after this play.
Hey, Joe won an acting award last year. Stabler to White Shoes Johnson, and a fine catch in traffic at the 46 of the Steelers. Wagner and J.T. Thomas there for Pittsburgh. 26-yard gain. How about Joe Green?
White Shoe Johnson came into the locker room to say hello to Joe Green, and he said, Joe, can you get me a Coca-Cola commercial? Joe stood up and looked down at him. He said, yeah, kid, you're about the right size.
Use him as the boy, huh?
What a fine catch by Billy White Shoes Johnson, and how happy they are to have him back. He is really one exciting football player.
Yes, indeed. And a first down at the 46 of Pittsburgh. 3:55 left. Pittsburgh leads by 14. Castor carrying a tackler with him to the 38-yard line and close to another first down. Taves made the stop. First final of the new season. Now we were going to give you another score, but that isn't a final. Atlanta leads 23-21, but we do have a final. Buffalo 17, Miami 7. So the Buffalo Bills of Chuck Knox have finally beaten Miami. They could be a real factor in that Eastern Division. That's really up for grabs. No one seems to be able to pick a winner out of that 5-team division. We're in overtime in Green Bay. The Bears and Packers are tied at 6 overtime. Campbell. First down, still on his feet to the 27-yard line. But the clock continues to run. 3:05, 3:04, 3:03. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WJAC-TV, Johnstown.
Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen, Three River Stadium, Pittsburgh. The Steelers came out as if they're still playing in that Super Bowl with 17 points in the first quarter. Nothing for Houston the first half. Finally, the Oilers alive in the third period, tied the game at 17. But 2 Pittsburgh touchdowns in the fourth quarter, giving Pittsburgh a 31-17 advantage. Oilers ball, first down at the Pittsburgh 27. 2 minutes and a half remaining. Intercepted. Johnny Shell at the 30. Might go all the way. Only Castor to beat. And Castor saves the touchdown at the 18-yard line.
here, right side of your picture, Donnie Shell just stepping in front of Renfroe. That's the kind of safety play, the kind of defensive play that Pittsburgh has done so well over the years. They are tough. They are awfully tough to beat.
Shell's 16th career interception and by far his longest return. Out of the 10-yard line goes the rookie following being Russell Davis. And the Oilers now looking at that clock. We'll watch it tick down to the 2-minute timeout as Ken Stabler, no touchdown passes today. 5 interceptions. It'll be better. Timeout here in Pittsburgh, where the Pittsburgh Steelers lead the Houston Oilers 31-17. They got to be celebrating in Buffalo. They've been hungry for that victory over Miami, and there Stabler intercepted by 31 Shell and a 67-yard return for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, I know the entire country saying, can anyone beat Pittsburgh? Will they falter? I'm not looking for anything bad to happen to Pittsburgh, but is there any thoughts of what could go wrong for the Steelers, Merlin?
Well, Bum Phillips said, we could drop these first two, and they've got Cleveland next week. We could spot you those first two, and we could still do the job.
Greg Hawthorne for a first down at the 5. It'll be first and goal for the Steelers.
But in answer to your question, I think if the Steelers can stay healthy, and healthy is something that is very important, even to a team as deep as the Steelers. We've talked about the potential problem at guard with the 2 young rookies. And what would happen to them if they were to lose Terry Bradshaw? They've got inexperienced quarterbacks, having made a trade there this year. And at the same time, it's possible because of a home-and-home schedule that Houston, who's been their major obstacle in this division, could come back and defeat them at home, could go on. It's very early. It's a long season.
Well, and Houston surely showing its mettle the way they rallied from really a miserable first half to tie the game in that third quarter. Executive producer of NBC's football is Don Olmeyer. Coordinating producer is Ted Nathanson. Today's telecast from Pittsburgh has been produced by George Finkel, directed by Ted Nathanson, technical director William Toby, associate producer Michael Hadley, associate director Randy Wands. And we want to thank here in the booth Joe Costanza, statistician Tim Fogarty, Barney McKinley, our player identification personnel. Ball inside the 4, where it is second and goal for the Steelers, who lead 31-17 with only 45 seconds left and the clock running.